Teams will be back in the Merrimack River this morning, searching for a man who may have drowned at Castlewood State Park Wednesday night.
I'm Debbie Monterrey.
I'm Sean Malone. The East St. Louis community reacts after a shooting that killed 5 and injured 2 more. I've got this story coming up.
The ATF launches a campaign to target straw gun buyers. I'm Maria Aquino with the story.
This is AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg. We'll see clouds and sun today. It'll be quite humid with a heavy thunderstorm in spots this afternoon and this evening, the high 90s.
St. Louis City SC is back on the pitch tonight at Energizer Park. We'll have a preview coming up at 6:15.
The trusted voice of St. Louis. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
ABC News, I'm Chuck Sievertson. The sun's coming up on a smoky, hazy morning for a lot of people, all thanks to wildfires in Minnesota and Canada.
It is such a dense area of wildfire with so much smoke that smoke is being captured by the top of this heat dome that we're under and then brought on down with the winds to the surface all the way from Wisconsin and Michigan right through Toronto, Canada, and yes, here in Philadelphia and New York.
ABC News chief meteorologist Ginger Z forecast in parts of Texas rain and a lot of it. The governor says the storms could dump around 30 inches in some areas. President Trump wants to address the nation tonight, and he's reportedly set to talk about the 2020 election. Reuters says he'll reveal intelligence showing China had the capability to meddle with the vote. The U.S. today expanding strikes on Iran, hitting targets farther north, and Iran retaliating with attacks on American allies. This is ABC News. Backing a temporary halt to routine immigration enforcement traffic stops, Maine Senator Susan Collins, after ICE officers shot a driver to death in a coastal town of Maine Monday, less than a week after an ICE agent in Houston shot and killed a man in a traffic stop during a deportation crackdown.
Senator King and I have also written to the acting attorney general to ask that the state government also be involved in the investigation.
President Trump does not support a suspension of ICE traffic stops. More than 100 House Democrats voted to wipe out military aid to Israel yesterday in a vote that highlighted new divides within the party. The measure failed to pass. Overseas stock markets overnight mostly declined and oil prices slipped despite a flurry of air attacks between the U.S. and Iran. U.S. stock futures edged lower. Chuck Sievertson, ABC News.
It is 6:02, and we do have some clouds in downtown St. Louis, but it looks like the rain has passed for now. It is 75 degrees. I'm Debbie Monterrey.
And I'm Tom Ackerman. There's a possibility a young man died Wednesday night in the Merrimack River at Castlewood State Park. Crews searched the waters for 2 hours before suspending operations after sunset. Metro West Fire Chief Brad Shelton spoke with our news partners at Fox 2.
This river is not a place for people to go swimming at all. The current and the undertow of these certain parts of the river are very difficult to traverse, even for our dive team.
Shelton says sonar will be used to try and locate the 19-year-old man.
The East St. Louis community responding after a Sunday shooting spree that involved family members.
16-year-old Jamire Davis is charged as an adult with 5 counts of murder, 2 counts of attempted murder, and defacing a body after cutting the thumb off of one of his victims after he and his 15-year-old juvenile accomplice went on a mass shooting spree across East St. Louis Sunday. Illinois State Police Public Service Coordinator Dr. Anita Bazil.
If you need help, again, in emergency 988, or you can call any local non-for-profit.
Councilman Lavando Poli says despite this tragedy, crime is dropping significantly in East St. Louis.
They've gotten hundreds of guns and ammo off of the streets of East St. Louis. Our crime rate has went down the lowest it's been ever in 45 years.
Outside the St. Clair County Courthouse, Sean Malone, KMOX News.
A man is jailed in Madison County accused of trying to kill a pedestrian with his car. Sheriff's deputies say 64-year-old Tony Accardi is charged with attempted first-degree murder, 2 counts of aggravated battery, and a misdemeanor charge of fleeing and eluding. Investigators say Accardi allegedly hit the man Monday night on Shoto Place Road in rural Granite City, causing a broken leg and other injuries.
In an effort to curb straw gun sales, the ATF, law enforcement, and federal prosecutors have launched a campaign called Don't Lie for the Other Guy.
People are criminally responsible for lying on ATF forms in order to get weapons in the hands of people that couldn't fill out the forms themselves.
U.S. Attorney Tom Albus says the straw buyers may not be involved in criminal activity,
but might from time to time in their lives be approached by people saying, hey, can you help me obtain this firearm, to understand that if you do that, you've gotten yourself into the soup just as if you were being involved in an illegal possession of a firearm or a violent offense.
KMOX asked about the unscrupulous gun owners. ATF Special Agent Butch Hansen.
A lot of it goes back to education, and we try to educate them so they understand what's going on. If they've been educated, they know the laws, then, we conduct criminal investigations if there's relevant information to justify one.
Maria Kina, KMOX News.
Also in the news this morning, a national animal welfare group says it's seeing gains when it comes to slowing the sale of puppies bred and raised in inhumane conditions. 10 states, including Illinois, and more than 500 cities and counties across the country have banned the sale of puppies in pet stores. John Goodwin with Humane World for Animals, formerly the Humane Society of the United States, says even with regulation, there are still issues.
What do those regulations actually say? And a USDA licensed puppy mill can legally keep dogs in cages that are only 6 inches longer than their body. They can legally keep dogs in these cages where they're just standing on wire flooring their entire lives with their paws never touching grass. They can legally breed them every heat cycle until their body wears out.
Goodwin says high-volume breeders are typically focused on quantity of puppies, not maintaining the quality of the breed.
KMOX's Michael Calhoun reports there's a pasta maker moving into St. Charles, filling a building that sat empty for only a few months.
General Mills closed its TNT crust plant on Millstone Parkway this year, cutting more than 160 jobs. Now, Bertegni, an Italian company that's actually been selling pasta in the St. Louis area for more than a century, is set to take over the site. Scott Drachnick with the county's Economic Development Council told the city council that the deal came together in about a month.
But at the same time, this project is 122 years in the making. That's because this particular company introduced their food to Missouri, to St. Louis, during the St. Louis World's Fair in 1904. It's simply taken us 122 years to get them to move here to produce it and sell it and distribute it as well.
Bertegni was founded in Italy in 1882 and is now a subsidiary of a Spain-based company. Its first American production facility is expected to be up and running by the end of 2027. Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
The St. Louis Sports Commission's president says since 1989, his group has generated $1 billion of economic impact to the region through big events, including $30 million in sales tax revenue for the city. Mark Schreiber says the commission is thankful for the $2.5 million that aldermen recently allocated from the city's Ram Settlement Fund. He says some of that may go toward bid fees for the 2031 World Cup of Rugby.
We hear the talk about the Soccer World Cup, and this wouldn't be necessarily at that level, but still huge. One of the biggest international sporting events we could do. For the biggest one we'd have probably since the 1904 Olympics.
Schreiber says this type of seed money would be replenished by revenue brought in by competitions hosted here in St. Louis.
It's going on 6:08. We'll take a quick break here, and we'll come back with a look at the roadways and the weather. Looks like, I can't tell. Might be raining still a little bit downtown. But anyway, the forecast is on the way as well. It's now 6:08, and this is Total Information AM.
You work hard, follow the rules, and get absolutely slammed by taxes. Your paycheck taxed. Your property taxed. Everything you buy taxed. Missouri's tax system isn't broken. It's rigged against you. The lawyers and lobbyists working for big corporations and the super rich buried over 200 loopholes for themselves in our tax code. While they pay nothing on the services they use, working families are taxed over and over. It's no wonder they're lying about Amendment 5. Our corrupt tax system is rigged in their favor. They're getting a free ride on your back. Don't believe their lies. The truth is, Amendment 5 closes loopholes exploited by the super rich and slashes taxes paid by Missouri's working families, phasing out income taxes and cutting property taxes. They finally pay what they owe while you keep what you earn. Vote yes on Amendment 5. Paid for by Missouri Promise PAC.
This is the story of the one who keeps multiple buildings running smoothly day after day. Plumbing that flows, HVAC that hums, Cleaning supplies that keep surfaces sparkling. That's why she counts on Grainger. With easy reordering online and 24/7 support, Grainger helps her keep the products she needs on hand. So shelves stay stocked and buildings stay ready. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Honey, did you invite the minions over?
Well, you know how we talked about getting Wi-Fi from Xfinity?
Yeah.
I ordered it this morning, was online in minutes, then they showed up.
So they just came over to use the Wi-Fi? For what?
Better not to know.
Get online in minutes with same-day Wi-Fi from Xfinity. Plus, lock in your price for 5 years and see Minions and Monsters only in theaters. Xfinity. Imagine that. Restrictions apply. Not available in all areas. Learn more at xfinity.com/same-day Wi-Fi.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts.
6:10. Let's turn our attention to traffic. See if there's any out there. Roger Brand, Overhead Door Company, St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, there's not much right now, Tom, but the roads are wet, so you have to be careful because you could still run into problems. It looks like we have one. I mentioned at the top of the hour a little bit of a delay eastbound on the Poplar Street Bridge at the Missouri end. I can't tell from my vantage point if it's a stall or a crash. I'm assuming somebody spun out and hit the wall because they have the left lane closed. So that's eastbound 64 just to get on the Poplar Street Bridge. So if you're coming in on 44 or 55 and need to get onto the bridge, you'll be able to cruise right by that crash because it's on the left side there as you merge onto the bridge. So it's not blocking your run through. And like I said, there's a very brief delay there eastbound right now. It's not impacting westbound. Nobody westbound's slowing down to take a look. They started road work southbound on 255 right now, 162 down to Collinsville Road. I don't see any delays through there. A little bit of a delay, Route 3 at Monsanto, both directions. Looks like you have a train crossing there. Just short jams each way. And 8th and Washington downtown, they're wrapping up a recent injury crash. Next update at 6:20 from the Overhead Door Company at St. Louis Traffic Center.
If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at lancedrurylaw.com.
Times of sun and clouds and very humid for today with a heavy thunderstorm in the area this afternoon and this evening. The high near 90. Partly to mostly cloudy, warm and sticky overnight, low 75. Intervals of clouds and sun tomorrow and remaining quite humid with a shower and thunderstorm crossing the area, especially in the afternoon, the high 88. Partly to mostly sunny on Saturday, very humid, the high 92. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Officially sunny in the region, although we do still have some cloud cover downtown. It's 74 degrees.
It's up to the United States Senate now to approve a bill passed by the House to keep daylight saving time all year long.
That possible permanent change to later sunsets would be welcomed by many in Missouri, says Dr. Thomas Seiler, a sleep medicine and pulmonary physician with Midwest Chest Consultants in St. Charles.
Looking at this, back in 2024, there was a survey done in Missouri, and 78% of people surveyed favored not switching back and forth. 47% wanted permanent daylight savings time, and 31% wanted permanent standard time.
Dr. Seiler says sleep specialists say permanent standard time would be better for our bodies and our circadian clock. But he says both are better for us as a constant rather than having to make the switch twice a year. Fred Bottomer, KMOX News.
Acting Attorney General Todd Blanche faced hours of questioning during his confirmation hearing before a Senate Judiciary Committee Wednesday. Here's ABC News Justice Department reporter Alex Mallon.
This was really all about a numbers game going into this hearing following that sudden passing of Senator Lindsey Graham, because they're going to have to replace Senator Graham and his seat on this because Todd Blanche cannot afford to lose a single GOP senator. And we'd heard two senators leading up to this hearing, Senator Tom Tillis and Senator John Cornyn, both who said they were undecided on the basis of this so-called settlement, doling out money to allies of President Trump who accused the Department of Justice under the Biden administration of being weaponized against them.
Jack Smith should be subject to prosecution for lying to Congress.
Missouri Senator Eric Schmidt at the confirmation hearing of Attorney General nominee Todd Blanche. Jack Smith served on the Justice Department's special counsel who led criminal investigations against President Trump.
So this weaponization, let's draw a distinction. When you go after your political opponents, that is a weaponization.
Schmidt says when you hold people accountable who weaponize the justice system, that is not the same thing.
Resorts and businesses in the Steelville and Lesterville areas are cleaning up quickly, hoping to welcome campers and floaters back after last weekend's historic flash flooding. Governor Mike Kehoe says he was proud of everyone who jumped into action.
Sure, we did 360 rescues. 106 of those were water rescues.
Wow.
It's mainly a 2-county area, and it was obviously low-lying areas. There were some property damage, fence damage, livestock lost, obviously.
And unfortunately, one death, a woman who was swept away by the floodwaters. Kehoe says he is currently assessing what state and federal help can be made available.
Coming up at 6:22, the McDonald Planetarium invites the public to check out its new Star Bay viewing area. It's 6:15. Now let's get into some baseball. The Cardinal Report, sponsored by Rawlings. Visit the Rawlings Experience at Westport. The Cardinals will be back at it on Friday. Tomorrow, they'll be visiting the Arizona Diamondbacks. Let's turn our attention to Kevin Wheeler and Nate Gatter.
17 games between the trade deadline and that day. So you come into the post-All-Star part of the schedule. You're a game out of a wild card spot. You've been a little up and down lately. You've lost 6 of your last 10. Whenever they've gone down, they've come back up a little bit. But you've been down a little bit now for a few weeks. And that's why you're not as high as you were in the wild card. Plus, the Phillies have been good. The Marlins were the hottest team in baseball in June. The Cubs have obviously been good. So it's a tight race. Pittsburgh's been hot. Arizona's gotten hot, and that's the first team out of the gate for you. Arizona's won 6 of their last 10. That's who you open with on Friday out in Arizona. So with 17 games and a clear idea, right? We know that Chaim Bloom has been consistent, Nate. When prioritizing decisions, we're prioritizing the long term over the short term. That's been pretty clear. What's going to be interesting is to see how you balance all things, because you are in a wild card race at the moment. Now, that could change. You go lose 10 of the next 12, you're a clear seller. You go win 10 of the next 12, maybe you got to hesitate. But what I'm saying, I guess, to start with is, barring an extreme outcome over the next 2 weeks, they will probably proceed with whatever their plan is today, which is probably to do a little bit of both. Sell some of your assets that are coming up on free agency and maybe lightly buy to reinforce the bullpen or something like that.
And if there's one thing the Cardinals have in recent and even medium history enjoyed, it's being a team doing a little bit of both.
Yeah, the arbitrage.
To do a little bit of both. And I will say this too, there's probably something to be said for being able to hide your cards a little bit going into the deadline, that you don't have to be a screaming obvious buyer or seller to the teams that you're engaging with.
Right.
The Cardinals will be in a position where they can engage with probably damn near every team in Major League Baseball.
That's correct.
The trade deadline is at the end of this month. St. Louis City SC also getting things jump-started today. They'll be playing tonight at Energizer Park against Sporting KC.
St. Louis City SC returns to MLS action Thursday after nearly 2 months away from league play. Head coach Juan Demay says the World Cup break wasn't about holding on to momentum. It was about getting better.
Yeah, it is a brand new start. That's just the reality. We finished the month of May very strong. Now we want to start really strong the second part of the season.
Demay says their success just before the break wasn't enough. The goal was to raise the standard.
Well, as much as the result in the month of May were positive, I still got the feeling that we could have been better. The idea was definitely to raise the bar for the staff, for the players. I'm excited to see what version we're going to see for the second part of the season.
Midfielder Chris Durkin will miss Thursday's match for yellow card accumulation, but Tomas Ostrak is back in full training where Demay believes he can give City attacking options higher up the pitch. Join us for a special edition of KMOX Sports Open Line live from Energizer Park on Thursday at 6 p.m. I'll be joined by Bill McDermott, Ty Keogh, and Brad Davis to talk World Cup soccer and more. Then catch our City pregame show at 7 on KMOX and Y98 before 7:45 kickoff against rival Sporting KC. Jen Cease, KMOX Sports.
Great honor for a local soccer star.
And the 2026 Gatorade Best High School Female Player of the Year is Maddie DiMaria, Koryesu Academy Soccer.
How about that from the ESPYs? Maddie DiMaria of Koryesu, the best high school female player of the year in any sport. Named last night. Jason Tatum, the St. Louis Star, was alongside for that announcement. That gives you chills. She has been amazing. Back-to-back National Player of the Year in soccer. She is headed to North Carolina to play soccer next season. As for the Open Championship, there's a 6-way tie for first at the moment. They're all at 3 under, including world number 1. Scotty Scheffler and the number one player in the world, Lionel Messi, was at it again yesterday as Argentina came back and beat England to get to the World Cup final Sunday against Spain. I'm Tom Ackerman on the home of the Cardinals, 104.1 FM KMOX.
Let's take a break.
Good idea.
Hey, Tom, what are you doing on that Amendment 4?
You know, we fought for our freedom and rights. I'm not giving them away without a fight.
4 takes them?
That's exactly what 4 does. For over 100 years, Missouri voters have used our constitutional power to act when the politicians refused. I'll be darned if I'm voting to pass on less freedom and power to my kids.
It doesn't 4 kill majority rule?
Yep, creates minority rule, where just 5% of statewide voters in one district can block anti-citizen-led reform, making it nearly impossible to pass citizen-led ballot measures.
That's just dumb.
And when the politicians refuse to act, we've used citizen-led ballot measures to pass some big stuff, like lobbyist reforms, term limits for career politicians, and outlawing tax hikes without voter approval.
I'm not surrendering my power and rights to a bunch of politicians and lobbyists. I'm no on Amendment 4.
Hard no on 4.
Pay 4 buttons every inch, prepare governance.
Well, it's official. My friends have all switched to Pure Talk because I told them they could save a bunch of money on a super reliable high-speed network with unlimited data. And because they're my friends, they trust me. As for the rest of you, well, Pure Talk understands that even though you might like me, you're not just going to take my word for it, nor should you. For that reason, and for a very limited time, Pure Talk is offering any of their plans for just $15 a month for the first 3 months, including their top-tier unlimited plan that normally sells for $65 a month. Think of it like a test drive, a super simple way to save $150 while you kick the tires on Pure Talk's blazing fast network, and a fine way to see for yourself why I switched from big wireless, along with a few 100,000 of my closest friends. Dial pound 250, say Mike Rowe, and be connected to Pure Talk's friendly U.S. customer service team. Again, dial pound 250, say Mike Rowe, and let the savings begin.
Now the news at 9, The Talk. The Chris and Amy Show on 104.1 FM KMOX.
621, here's Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
There's still no change downtown, Debbie, with our crash. It looks to me like maybe somebody hit the wall. The left side, left lanes are blocked. It's eastbound 64 just after you get on the Poplar Street Bridge. Eastbound 64, very light traffic. You can merge over fine, and it's not impacting folks coming up 44 or 55 getting onto the bridge eastbound since it's in the left lane. So the end result is there's just barely an eastbound slowdown there. And again, westbound 55, 64 looks great. And nobody's slowing for a look, so there are no delays running that way. They're doing road work southbound 255 from 162 all the way down through to Collinsville Road. I think it's the left lane closed there. I'm not seeing any delays. There is a little bit of volume rather. Northbound 55 a little slow. 141 headed up toward Merrimack Bottom right now. Next update at 6:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Think buying a home is out of reach? Think again. Scott Credit Union has down payment options as low as zero money down. Your new home could be closer than you think. Visit scu.org today. Equal housing lender, NMLS 415767. Terms and conditions apply.
Clouds and sun, chance of a heavy thunderstorm around this afternoon and evening, high near 90, low 75 tonight. Then another round of thunderstorms tomorrow afternoon, high 88. It's 74 right now.
It is 622. The James S. McDonald Planetarium experienced a serious upgrade over the last few months.
Starting this Saturday, you'll have the opportunity to experience state-of-the-art real-time views of outer space in the planetarium's domed Orthwine Star Bay. KMOX's Megan Lynch got a preview from planetarium manager Will Snyder.
So what's it like to finally get your hands on this thing and see how it works?
Well, it really is exciting. You know, I've worked in several different planetariums, and this is the first time where from scratch I've been able to be involved with installing a new system. So we've really got all our little wish list items out of this, and we're excited to have our hands on it and be able to show it to people.
Tell us what is so unique about this projector.
Well, being a hybrid planetarium is a pretty unique thing. We combine two different systems that work in harmony. We have that optomechanical projector, the Godo Chiron 3, that gives you those beautiful pinpoint starry sky. But then along with it, we have that Digistar system. Some places might have just one or the other, but it is more uncommon to see them working in tandem together to be able to give the best of both worlds. An optomechanical projector gives you that realistic starry sky at a resolution close to about 70K, which you can't do with digital projectors or LED domes. But it's a one-trick pony. To go beyond Earth, you need that digital side. So we're really excited to be able to offer both and do it in a way that feels seamless to guests.
Describe what the experience will be like for guests.
If you're coming to the planetarium for a first time in a while, I think what's great about our system is it can feel both very familiar and very different at the same time. So if you remember coming in, relaxing underneath the starry sky, and interacting with a live educator, you'll still have all of those great things. But now we can do so much more. We can take you to different objects that in the past we only could speak about, and we can also talk about new topics that we couldn't in the past. So it should feel both familiar and hopefully totally new.
Tell us how it integrates real-time data.
That's a really cool thing because in our world today, you hear a lot about data centers and all these things, certainly with AI and everything else, but science has been using data for, since the beginning, collecting data points, both with satellites and ground-based measurements that can allow us to better understand the world around us. So this system does pull from all sorts of national and international databases to give us new information. And in addition to satellite and climate data about our planet, it does also download in near real time new images from, say, the James Webb Space Telescope or other missions, so that whenever we make a new discovery as humans, we can talk about it here at the planetarium.
One thing that kind of made me sad was the difference between what we see here in St. Louis because of our light pollution and what we should see without it.
So it can be sad, right? But I think it is important for a lot of people, if you grow up near a lot of lights, or even today, not that far out in the countryside, you still deal with a lot of lights, and coming to the planetarium is a great opportunity where if you can't travel 2 hours away into the countryside, to both discover or be reminded what that sky looks like, and it will maybe inspire you to try to see that for real.
The new projection system was made possible by a generous gift from the St. Louis-based Centene Foundation. 626 time check, sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
Oh, McKelvey Homes, they do it all the time, building new communities in the St. Louis area, making people happy by selling homes. People just want a new, fresh start, and McKelvey Homes can absolutely do that. These beautiful communities all throughout the St. Louis area. You can find them now online at McKelveyHomes.com. McKelvey Homes is Missouri's oldest and most respected name in home building. They go back to 1898. A long-standing tradition of quality craftsmanship and exceptional value, committed to the highest standards of excellence. McKelvey Homes, whether you choose one of their thoughtfully designed communities or maybe you prefer a custom home on your own lot, McKelvey builds in the most sought-after locations, places where families truly want to live. They offer innovative home designs to suit every lifestyle and provide personalized service to guide you through every step of the process. They have everything covered. They're McKelvey Homes. They're great to work with. You want to live in Cottleville, Creve Coeur, Darting Prairie, Ellisville, O'Fallon, Missouri, Rock Hill, St. Charles, St. Louis, Wildwood, you name it, they've got it. They will listen to what you want. McKelvey Homes, McKelveyHomes.com. Move up to McKelvey.
Carpal tunnel syndrome, heart failure that doesn't improve with common medicines. These are some signs and symptoms associated with ATTR-CM, or the cardiomyopathy of ATTR amyloidosis, a serious heart condition with symptoms that get worse over time. Amvuttra, vutrisiran, is a prescription medicine given by a healthcare provider that treats ATTR-CM in adults to reduce heart-related death, hospital stays, and urgent visits. In a clinical study, Amvuttra was proven to help people live longer and have fewer heart-related hospital stays and urgent visits over 3 years compared to placebo. Amvuttra lowers the amount of vitamin A in your blood, which can affect vision. Other side effects include pain in the arms or legs, pain in the joints, and shortness of breath. These are not all the possible side effects of Amvuttra. For prescribing information, call 1-833-256-2748 or learn more at amvuttra.com. Ask your doctor about Amvuttra for ATTR-CM.
Hi, Margaret with Eamon Gantner and Capriano. We all procrastinate. We put things off, confident we'll have time later. Well, one who procrastinates in choosing will inevitably have their choices made for them by circumstance. Could be an illness or even a death. And it happened to me. I was widowed at 41. It could happen to you. If you procrastinate and fail to plan for your future, for your children, circumstances and the courts will make your plans for you. without your input. Eamon Gantner and Capriano help thousands of families plan for their future now. We can be your personal attorney too, guiding you with a will, trust, powers of attorney, Medicaid, and VA. You may delay, but time does not. Eamon Gantner and Capriano, yourestateMatters.com.
The choice of an attorney is an important decision and shouldn't be based solely on advertising.
What do parents think of back to school at Staples, where supplies start at just 25 cents?
Staples has the latest laptops with up to 40% savings.
I may hug the cashier.
So embarrassing.
It's the most wonderful time of the year.
It's a wonderful time at Staples with up to 40% off select tech. Staples.
That was easy.
Visit Staples today or shop online and in the app. Ends 9/12. Exclusions apply.
When you enter a place of business, you're owed a legal duty that the place of business is safe for you to shop in. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. If you suffered an injury at a place of business, our duty is to protect you after that harm. Morgan & Morgan, for the people.com.
It is 6:30, and we've got still some clouds downtown, but some sunshine as well. 75 degrees. I'm Debbie Monterrey.
And I'm Tom Ackerman. Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, still got this crash downtown, Tom. I see the IDOT truck pulling up now, thankfully. This traffic reports the service of Scott Credit Union, so hopefully it won't be too much longer. Left lane still closed. Eastbound, it's eastbound 64, just as you get on the Poplar Street Bridge. So sort of scoot over to the right-hand side if you're coming in eastbound 64, approaching the bridge. It's not impacting traffic since it is eastbound. In fact, of course, there's no lane blockage for folks coming in on 44 or 55 trying to get onto the bridge eastbound. You're fine. It's right as you merge onto the bridges before you get to that point for your those folks. Other than that, we have a little bit of volume on eastbound Highway 30. Mauer Industrial is backing up the hill to 270 and north 270, Sappington up to that Highway 30 Gravois area. There's some slower traffic as well. Doesn't look as bad on 55 coming through 141. We had a slowdown there 10 minutes ago. Other Illinois traffic, roadwork going on southbound 255 past 162. They have the left lane closed, but things are still good to go there. Next update is 640 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Today is going to be a mix of sun and clouds and a heavy thunderstorm around this afternoon into this evening, a high near 90, 75 overnight. And then again tomorrow, it's going to be sun and clouds, humid, shower, thunderstorm around in the afternoon with a high of 88. Right now, it's 75 degrees downtown.
A water search will resume this morning at Castlewood State Park. Crews in 5 rescue boats spent hours searching for a 19-year-old man who a witness says went under the water just after 8 o'clock last night. Officials are bringing in special equipment when the search starts back up this morning in a creek that feeds into the Merrimack River.
Girls Incorporated St. Louis has been the host this week of the first ever National Girls Incorporated Conference. St. Louis President and CEO Cheryl Jones says Girls Inc. is about building the new generation of strong, smart, bold leaders, and the girls are talking this week about
character, leadership, and also talking about advocacy, issues that are important to them. But they also have been on panels. We've had several opportunities for the girls to just showcase what they are learning and what they will continue to learn.
More than 250 girls representing chapters across the U.S. and Canada attended this week's conference held at Washington University.
The House has passed a bill to make daylight saving time permanent. Eric Herzog studies the biology of daily rhythms at WashU. He tells Chris and Amy there is an alternate bill called SOCA, stands for Sunshine for Our Kids Act.
The idea is that kids waiting in the morning for their school bus on daylight saving time are waiting in the dark. And in 1974, unfortunately, 4 children were killed while waiting for the bus in daylight saving time. And that's what ended the permanent daylight saving time experiment in 1974.
Herzog said if everyone would wake up naturally, it would be more beneficial, and that would come with standard time.
The news is sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts, michaelsflooringoutlet.com. We've got your Bloomberg Money Minute coming up. It is 6:33.
Chris Ranchi and Amy Marks Kors connect you with the people, places, and conversations that bring our community together.
And now you get to hear about poo-poo in a box from a firefighter.
No, come on.
The hammerhead worm. And you get to hear about car fires.
And sinkholes.
And sinkholes.
I love our newsroom. I think they're doing a great job.
From neighborhood happenings to local heroes, from everyday challenges to unforgettable stories. Chris and Amy, weekdays from 9 to noon on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Men, if you're suffering from erectile dysfunction or PE, you're not alone. Most importantly, you don't have to live with it. Paramount Men's Medical Center restores men's sex lives in just one visit. Their painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, even when Viagra and Cialis don't work. Here's Dr. Simovitz, specialist in men's health.
Paramount Men's Medical Center's painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, regardless of age or medical history. 98% of patients see instant results right in the office.
Men are now lasting longer than they ever imagined. And the best part, at Paramount Men's Medical Center, your consultation and first treatment are free. Qualified patients even get their testosterone checked free. Call 314-720-8444. 314-720-8444. Take control of your sex life. Call now. 314-720-8444.
It is 6:35. This is Total Information AM, and it's time for your money report. It's sponsored by Eamon, Gantner, and Capriano, elder law attorneys.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. Uber is doubling down on international growth. The company has agreed to buy Delivery Hero in a deal which values the German food delivery company at $14.8 billion. The move will dramatically expand its global operations, boosting its total markets to 99. The food delivery market has been rapidly consolidating in recent years. Checking on the markets, reports this week have showed a sharp slowdown in inflation. This has Wall Street dialing back bets that the Federal Reserve will hike interest rates this year. That supported stocks yesterday, with the Dow rising 150 points. This morning, all eyes are on the Middle East, with the U.S. striking Iran for a fifth straight day. S&P and Dow futures are little changed. And Apple has slightly raised the cost of individual Apple Care Plus service subscriptions. Prices for monthly packages have risen by 50 cents for Macs and iPads, while the annual offering rose by $5. The increases are exclusively for new signups. Courtney Donahoe, Bloomberg Radio.
The radical left let crime and drugs pour into our nation, and they let biological men into girls' sports. But here in Missouri, if there's a problem, we fix it. That's why Ann Wagner's fixing the mess the radical left made and delivering for us. Wagner voted to ban biological men from competing in girls' sports, and she voted to fund the police and provide more resources for Border Patrol agents, keeping our families, communities, and children safe. And Ann Wagner didn't stop there. In Congress, Wagner passed the largest working-class tax cut in American history, kept big government out of our business, protected our way of life, and ensured our communities remain safe. That's why Ann Wagner's endorsed by the Missouri Farm Bureau and Missouri Fraternal Order of Police. Vote Ann Wagner for Congress on August 4th.
I'm Ann Wagner, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Ann Wagner for Congress.
Let me tell you something about insurance. When you sign your insurance policy, for some brokers, that's the finish line. Handshake, commission, done. Then you may not hear from them again until it's time for renewal. But your business runs all year, so do the gaps and the risk. So go to supersure.com. If your company has more than 25 employees, whether you're the owner, CFO, or HR manager, it can be too complex to just go buy a policy online. Supersure is the super agency built for you, licensed in every state for your business insurance and employee benefits, all with year-round support for you and your team. At supersure.com, you can access tools like fine print facts. It'll translate your current policy into plain English so you see what's covered and what's not. Plus a business value calculator so you can estimate what your business is worth so you know what actually needs protecting. Go to supersure.com. One super agency, one powerful platform, all your policies in one place. Supersure.com. That's supersure.com. Paid for by Supersure Insurance Agency, LLC, a licensed insurance agency.
Summer is here. Time to enjoy baseball, barbecues, and the shade of your trees. When it comes to tree care, call the certified arborist at Gamma Tree Experts. Hi, I'm Tim Gamma. Protect your valuable trees from storm damage or devastating insects such as the emerald ash borer. Knowledge and quality are hallmarks of our reputation. For pruning, spraying, fertilization, or removals, call Gamma Tree Experts today at 314-725-6159 or visit us at gammatree.com. Your trees deserve the best care.
Nothing makes a gathering great like Eggland's best eggs. They're just so delicious with better nutrition, too. For us, it's eggs any style, as long as they're the best. Eggland's best. Better taste, better nutrition, better eggs.
Tonight, it's City Soccer on KMOX. First up, Gen C's hosts a special soccer edition of Sports Open Line beginning at 6 from Energizer Park. Then, it's City SC facing Sporting KC. Pre-game 7:05, ticket 7:30. City Soccer on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
It is 6:39, and we have traffic and weather coming right up. AP correspondent Karen Shamas reports on more Israeli military killings of Palestinians in Gaza since the ceasefire agreement.
Israel has killed at least a dozen Palestinians in Gaza in the past 2 days from airstrikes. On Wednesday, Israeli strikes killed 3 Palestinian family members in central Gaza. On Tuesday, a Palestinian woman and 6 Palestinian police officers were killed by an Israeli strike on a police station in Jabalia refugee camp. The Israeli military claimed some officers were Hamas militants but provided no evidence. The United Nations has condemned Israeli military attacks on Gaza's police, raising concerns about Israel's targeting distinctions. Despite agreeing on a ceasefire towards the end of 2025, Israel has killed a further 1,123 Palestinians in Gaza. I'm Karen Shamas.
It's 6:40 and time for us to check your ride in and the weather as well. We did have a little bit of rain moving through this morning, and we might see a lot of rain later this afternoon. We'll get to that in just a moment. But first, here is Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, they cleared that crash downtown, Debbie. This traffic reports the service of Steve Butts and the entire Crawford Butts family. So that crash eastbound 64th and Missouri into the Poplar's gone. Westbound 64th slow, Route 3 across the bridge right now. So they were starting to slow down for a look at it. Maybe it'll thin out. We'll keep tabs on it, obviously. Northbound 270 as you approach Tesson Ferry through Gravoid is generally heavy. And eastbound 30 West Watson, that run up through Mauer. And then it's pretty solid from Mauer up to 270. A little slowdown in the right lanes. I can't see the trouble. North 270 north of Dorset. There's a little bit of a jam up at a couple of spots in Wentzville. Southbound 61 Wentzville Parkway down to 6470 and westbound 70 Wentzville Parkway midway out to David Hokel Parkway, seeing a little bit more of a backup there where we had it earlier this morning from the road work in the overnight hours. As America celebrates its 250th anniversary, Steve Butts and everyone at Crawford Butts Insurance wish everyone a safe and joyful summer. Proudly serving the community for generations. Happy 250th, America. Next update at 6:50 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
It is 6:41. Time for us to check in with our AccuWeather meteorologist, Joe Lundberg. I was a little surprised earlier. I was like, oh, look, it's raining. But now it's not.
Yeah, it very, very light little shower popped up. I think it's just a precursor of what's to come, Debbie. I think that the atmosphere is just showing signs that it's got a little bit more depth to the moisture field instead of just being here at the surface. And that can lead to more clouds, one, and two, a better chance for a thunderstorm around the area during the afternoon and evening hours. That's when most everything's going to be, the high near 90. Then warm and sticky later tonight, those 75 tomorrow. Very humid day with clouds and sun. Look for a shower and thunderstorm at virtually any time. I think it's best chance in the afternoon and evening again. The high in the upper 80s. A partly sunny start to the weekend. Very humid, the high 92. I can't rule out a thunderstorm, but it may be the one day where it's the least likely. Sunday and Monday, sunshine, some clouds, very warm and humid. A thunderstorm possible both afternoons, the high in the low 90s Sunday, maybe 93, 94 on Monday. Right now, 76 and mostly cloudy at St. Peter, 79 at Florissant, 81 downtown at the Arch. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
All right. Thanks, Joe. It is 6:43. There are hundreds of wildfires now burning in Canada, along with a dozen active in Minnesota. It's all sending smoke across the Northeast United States and parts of the Midwest. We get more from ABC News Chief Meteorologist Ginger Z.
Already, we've seen some of the most dense smoke in the northern Great Lakes, places like Mackinac Island, Michigan, Duluth, Minnesota, all the way down to Toronto. But we will keep seeing Cleveland, Detroit, Grand Rapids, Michigan, Erie, Buffalo, even Philadelphia and New York City going through the beginning of today and through this afternoon with those milky, if not fully smoky skies.
The war between the U.S. and Iran and the closure of the Strait of Hormuz has led to high oil and gas prices, and that's impacting airlines. United says it expects to spend $6 billion in added fuel costs in 2026. The company is making up those costs in other ways.
United Airlines, in an SEC filing, signaled airfares will remain high for the remainder of the year. The airline says it spent $2.3 billion on fuel during this quarter alone, roughly 84% compared to the second quarter last year. United says it was able to cover half the increased fuel costs by raising airfares, saying passengers paid about 12% more per mile than a year ago. At the same time, United says passengers are not backing away from traveling, noting flights remain full across all booking classes. Michelle Franzen, ABC News.
President Trump is making a primetime address to the nation that is expected to include discussion of election issues. The president has long insisted that he won the 2020 election, even though the people he appointed to oversee it said the count was accurate and he lost. The president hasn't revealed what he'll say in tonight's speech, but keeps teasing that it's really big news. A coin featuring President Trump will be available starting in the fall.
The Treasury Department says the U.S. Mint has started producing a new $1 coin bearing President Trump's face. The president's face is on one side of the coin, surrounded by the word liberty and 1776-2026. Over the president's left shoulder are the words, "In God We Trust." On X, Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent said the coin is intended to honor the enduring legacy of liberty and a lasting symbol of patriotism. The dollar coin is not made of gold, but has a gold finish. Federal law prohibits the depiction of a living president on U.S. currency, but the Treasury Secretary has the ability to authorize the minting and issuance of coins in some circumstances. Ed Donahue, Washington.
We got a whole lot going on in sports right now, starting with St. Louis City SC. They play tonight, and we're going to simulcast it on KMOX. Y98 and KMOX will have it tonight. It's St. Louis City SC at Energizer Park. They'll be playing Sporting KC, the rivalry. Let's turn our attention to KMOX's Jen Cease.
St. Louis City SC believes it found its identity before the World Cup break. Now the challenge is building on it. Center back Timo Baumgartel says the club wants to build on the progress it made before the break.
At the end of the first half, we had some good games. We won a lot. We were successful. So we want to just continue with that.
Baumgartel says the goal isn't simply to repeat what City did in May. He wants the team to be even better.
We want to be more aggressive, also press a little bit more, and we just want to develop in these principles, want to get more points. I think all the fans would be happy if we win our game on Thursday.
Due to yellow card accumulation, midfielder Chris Durkin will miss Thursday's match, but Tomas Ostrak is back in full training, and head coach Johan DeMay may push his attacking qualities higher up the pitch. Be sure to join us for a special edition of KMOX Sports Open Line live from Energizer Park on Thursday at 6 p.m. Joining me will be Bill McDermott, Ty Keogh, and Brad Davis to talk World Cup soccer and more. Then catch our City pregame show at 7 on KMOX and Y98 before kickoff against rival Sporting KC at 7:45. Jen Cease, KMOX Sports.
Congratulations to our very own Maddie DiMaria, named the Gatorade National High School Female Player of the Year. That covers all sports. She was awarded that last night at the ESPYs. The Koriezu star led the Chargers to another state title in her final season, and now she is headed to the University of North Carolina, where they have won 23 national titles. Lionel Messi is trying to get Argentina to another World Cup title. They'd be the first back-to-back winners since Brazil in 1958 and 1962. Messi and Argentina won yesterday, defeating England and rallying. That's how they do it. 2-1 was the final. They trailed 1-0 going to the last 5 minutes of regulation time. But Enzo Fernandez got the goal in the 85th minute after some pressure, and Lautaro Martinez headed in the winner 2 minutes into injury time. Messi assisted on both. Argentina will play Spain in the World Cup final on Sunday in East Rutherford, New Jersey. Right now, it is at Royal Birkdale, the Open Championship, the final major of the season. And there are two at the top with scores of 4 under. Dan Brown is one of them. And the other one at 4 under and in the clubhouse is Sung Jae Im. The world number 1, Scotty Scheffler, is, of course, in the hunt. He is 3 under through 10. Dan Reardon with some background on the Open Championship. coming up in a half hour. And the Cardinals, they will play tomorrow. They take on the Arizona Diamondbacks this weekend. The Cardinals are in the wild card hunt in the National League. They're a game out of the final spot. Diamondbacks are 2.5 out. That game tomorrow night at 8:40 right here on the home of the Cardinals, 104.1 FM KMOX. Who's Hot, Who's Not, sponsored by St. Louis Composting, growing gardens and making memories.
Hi, I'm Chuck McDowell, the timeshare cancellation guy and founder of Wesley Financial Group. And I want to set the record straight. I am not an attorney. I've never wanted to be an attorney. And the truth is, I really don't even like attorneys. If I sound like an attorney, I'll apologize. But what I've learned in my 15 years in the timeshare cancellation business is you don't need to be an attorney to get folks out of their timeshare. After 15 years and over 50,000 cancellations, I can tell you with confidence, we know how to get you out of your timeshare. Call us today and we'll send you our timeshare exit guide absolutely free with all your options for cancellation. Attorneys, this was meant to be funny, so please don't sue me, especially my friend Kenneth from Black River Falls, Wisconsin.
Call now for your free timeshare exit info kit. 800-838-6767. 800-838-6767. 800-838-6767.
For state senate, I like Mike. Mike Deering knows what a hard day's work looks like because he's done it his whole life.
I like Mike. He's a dad. He knows what our families are up against.
Mike Deering's a businessman. He knows what red tape actually costs.
I like Mike because Mike Deering stands with President Trump. Secure the border. Cut our taxes. Put Missouri first.
I'm Mike Deering. Career politicians spend more and tax more while your family gets squeezed. I'll lower your taxes, keep your money in your pockets, and cut government waste so deep it'll make the politicians squeal.
Mike Deering, farmer, small business owner, dad, conservative. I like Mike.
I like Mike.
I like Mike. For state senate, I like Mike. Mike Deering. On Tuesday, August 4th, vote Republican Mike Deering for state senate.
Make common sense conservative leadership common again.
Paid for by friends of Mike Deering. Megan Kaiser, treasurer.
Broadcasting from the Scott Credit Union Studio, 104.1 FM KMOX. Now the news at 1, the fun. It's the Dave Glover Show on 104.1 FM KMOX.
6:51, time for Roger Brand to tell us more from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, we got a few slowdowns out there right now, Debbie. This traffic reports the service of the Sandberg Phoenix Law Firm. Northbound 270 bogged down as you ramp on from 55, most of the way up to Tesson Ferry, and then both sides of Gravois kind of busy. Eastbound 30 coming up the hill from almost West Watson to 270 is pretty solid bumper-to-bumper traffic running through there right now. Southbound 61, you've got slow traffic from Wensfield Parkway down to 64 or 70. If you're ramping onto eastbound 70, that ramp out traffic is slow up to about Highway A. Westbound 70 backs up Z to Wensfield Parkway, and then there's slow pockets out through the David Hokel Parkway area. If you're on the Illinois side, everything's thinned out. They cleared that crash. Eastbound 64 on the Poplar. Westbound is back on track. There is a little slowdown eastbound 64, though, at 159 in Fairview Heights. Next update is 6:58 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Sandberg Phoenix serves your business in litigation, intellectual property, and products liability. We're more than a law firm. We're committed to your success. Learn more at sandbergphoenix.com. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertising.
Humid today with a heavy thunderstorm around this afternoon. High near 90, low 75 tonight. High 88 tomorrow with an afternoon thunderstorm chance. It's 75 right now.
The news continues at 6:52.
Sure, we did 360 rescues. 106 of those were water rescues.
That's Governor Mike Kehoe talking about the efforts to rescue people from historic flash flooding in Reynolds and Iron counties over the weekend.
Our National Guard, our citizen heroes, came in and took care of business with some Black Hawk helicopters and got them to safe ground. So I'm thankful to the first responder community and what amazing efforts they did to get people safe in that storm.
Kehoe says he was also thankful those Black Hawk helicopters were nearby and joked that the young campers rescued won't have nearly as exciting a time at camp next year.
They were cooking at St. Louis County Council this week.
Vulcan Treat Box owner Lauren Nalich picked up a county council resolution this week recognizing her for winning a James Beard Award. Nalich brought her Beard medallion to the meeting and told council members what the win means to her.
It's just been
an incredible journey, and we've just had so much fun doing it and love welcoming everybody into the restaurant. It's just become like a really great community. But yeah, this is a huge honor.
Council members are urging residents to go check her restaurants out, though they admit with the popularity that's easier said than done these days. Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
The University of Missouri system has landed an historic federal science grant. Leaders say that award could be the largest in Missouri higher education history.
The University of Missouri system has been selected for the National Science Foundation's Regional Innovation Engines program that makes it eligible for up to $160 million in funding. The Critical Materials Crossroads Project, which was launched in 2022, brings together more than 260 partners across Missouri and Kansas to strengthen the nation's supply of critical minerals used in energy, transportation, communications, and national security. Examples are lithium, cobalt, and graphite. Ashley Bird, Missouri Net.
I heard it's somebody's birthday.
Birthday excitement.
It's your birthday.
Former Cardinal Terry Pendleton celebrating a birthday today. The great third baseman is 66.
The birthday shout out is sponsored by Renner Garage Door, RENNER, forward and back. Happy birthday to Harrison Shipman from Grandma and Grandpa Adams. Ken Court, or maybe it's Cordy, of Highland, Illinois, is celebrating today. Steve Winchell from the Springs. Linda Gass, Diane Ware, Eileen Hobblewell in Collinsville. Happy birthday to Kathleen Muller from David, Andrew, and Rick. Happy second birthday, Sylvia Grace Hill from AJ. Don Marsh is having a birthday, so is Rebecca Medina, and a belated happy birthday to our very own Tom Ackerman.
Wow, thank you. 51, in case anyone's wondering.
Doesn't look a day over 36.
Oh, my goodness. It's 6:55. Thank you.
This is the best birthday ever.
1-2. And that's grounded up the middle. Diving play. Mason Wynn to his feet. He throws. He got him.
St. Louis. Summer baseball is on at Busch Stadium. The Cardinals host the Cincinnati Reds July 24th through the 26th for a weekend packed with Cardinals action and giveaways like the Victory Blue jersey and Kids Fredbird hat. Round up your crew and enjoy 3 days of summer baseball and family fun. Get your tickets today at cardinals.com/promotions.
Fredbird fans, this one's for you. Sunday, July 26th, the Cards take on the Reds, and kids 12 and under can get a one-of-a-kind Fredbird hat. It's colorful, fun, and perfect for cheering on the Redbirds. Plus, it's Kids Sunday with Team Fredbird. Music, games, and lots of fun in Ford Plaza. Grab your family and come have some fun at the ballpark. Get your tickets now at cardinals.com/promotions.
This is JJ Weatherholt. See you at Busch Stadium.
America is turning 250 this year, and Circa Sports is celebrating by offering all users in Missouri $250. For everyone in Missouri, all you have to do is deposit $250 on your Circa Sports app, then play through that deposit. Once you do, Circa Sports will reward you with $250 right in your account. This is available for everyone in Missouri, new and existing users. Celebrate 250 years and find out more at circasports.com today. Must be 21 or older and in Missouri. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
I'm Tom Ackerman with this month's Siteman Cancer Center Spotlight. We are discussing bone cancer. July is Bone Cancer Awareness Month, and visiting with us is Dr. Angela Herbie, medical oncologist at Siteman Cancer Center. Dr. Herbie, thank you very much for being with us.
Thanks for having me.
Let's start with a sarcoma. What is a sarcoma?
So sarcomas are cancers that start in either bone or the soft tissues that hold our bodies together, like cartilage, fat, muscles, nerves. First of all, I think people say sarcomas are bone cancers, but it's really a group of about 100 different types of rare cancers, and there's about 15,000 new cases per year. And sarcomas account for only about 1% of cancers in adults, but they make up about 20% of cancer diagnoses in children.
Dr. Angela Herbie with Siteman Cancer Center. I'm Tom Ackerman. Thanks to Siteman Cancer Center, national leaders in cancer. For more information, visit siteman.washu.edu.
Who's been talking about St. Louis sports since 1985? Bernie Miklasz.
One thing I can absolutely swear to about Ali Marmol, Ali welcomes being challenged. You're a fan and there's something that he does that bugs you, tell it to him directly. You don't have to hide behind some stupid name. You don't have to be a coward. Just ask them directly.
Bernie Nicholas, hear what he has to say on the voice of the Cardinals, KMOX.
Here is Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, eastbound Highway 30 may have signal problems at 270 because this jam just keeps getting a little longer. It's almost West Watson now, pretty solid going up the hill on eastbound Highway 30. Now, North 270 through that Gravois area is thinned out. Out west, westbound Highway 70 from Z to Wentzville Parkway is backed up. Then it's slow out past David Hochul Parkway. Next update at 7:10 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
76 degrees with clearing sky in downtown St. Louis. I'm Tom Ackerman, and these are the stories making news. Search crews head back to the waters of the Merrimack River this morning, looking for a 19-year-old who may have drowned last night.
I'm Debbie Monterrey.
I'm Sean Malone here from the East St. Louis community after a mass shooting killed 5 and injured 2 more. I've got that story coming up.
A pasta maker from Italy picks the St. Louis area, home of the Hill, to produce its pasta in the U.S. for the first time. I'm Michael Calhoun with the latest.
This is AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg. Very humid today with clouds and sun, along with a thunderstorm in the area this afternoon and evening, the high near 90.
We'll take a look at St. Louis City SC getting things going again tonight and the World Cup in 15 minutes.
News, talk, cards. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
ABC News, I'm Chuck Sievertson. Wildfires across parts of Minnesota and Canada pumping out smoke. It's being trapped under the heat dome hitting parts of the east. That's turning into some smoky days for millions of Americans from the Great Lakes to New England. Dr. Sushkira Kier is at Tufts.
They might experience more cough, tightness in the chest. They might experience more wheezing, difficulty breathing.
Exactly what these joggers were feeling.
Breathing's a little bit more strained than normal.
I felt a little bit in my lungs, like a little burn.
In parts of Texas, it's water, way too much of it. Rain in parts of the Texas Hill Country being measured in feet over the past few days, setting off dangerous flooding. Iran has released an American woman held there since late 2024, even as the U.S. military steps up attacks on Iranian targets. In turn, Iran firing attacks at U.S. allies in the region again. President Trump expected to address election security in an address to the country tonight. This is ABC News. Cleared by the courts, ruling against changes to an exhibit explaining slavery at the site of President George Washington's home in Philadelphia. A map of slave trade routes and a timeline on slavery were removed by the Interior Department to comply with President Trump's order. Michael Cord, an activist.
What if there's a president next time that doesn't like the Liberty Bell? Because the Liberty Bell was used by abolitionists to support the end of slavery. Do we remove the Liberty Bell?
Prices of beef, coffee, and OJ could go up, says ABC's Mike Dubusky.
Brazil is being hit with new 25% tariffs, with Trump administration officials accusing the country of engaging in unfair trade practices. The new 25% tariff is lower than the 40% tariff announced last year, which was struck down by the Supreme Court in February. They also include carve-outs for beef, coffee, and orange juice, as well as some energy products and aerospace parts.
Chuck Sievertson, ABC News.
It is 7:02, and we do have clouds and sunshine right now in downtown St. Louis. It's 76 degrees. I'm Debbie Monterrey.
And I'm Tom Ackerman. Chance of a thunderstorm this afternoon. We'll get the update from Joe Lundberg coming up in just under 10 minutes. A search resumes this morning for a 19-year-old male who first responders believe was swept away in the Merrimack River at Castlewood State Park Wednesday evening.
There are signs posted all throughout Castlewood State Park that this river is dangerous. This river has been dangerous for the last 25 years. This river is not a swimming pool.
Metro West Fire Chief Brad Shelton told our news partners at Fox 2 that crews spent about 2 hours in the water last night searching for the missing teen.
East St. Louis and Illinois are responding after a 15 and 16-year-olds have been charged with committing a mass shooting.
Unspeakable acts of violence, of evil.
This was tragic for both families.
Reaction from the community after 7 were shot, 5 fatally, in a familial mass shooting over the weekend across East St. Louis. Many local leaders stressed the need to offer help and guidance for the youths in their region in order to stem further violence. With that in mind, I asked if retaliation was a concern. The Illinois State Police simply said they're focused on keeping people safe. East St. Louis Councilman Lavando Pulley made this plea to local nonprofits and churches.
Reinvent those youth programs, get into these youth minds. If they aren't guided, they're misguided.
Sean Malone, KMOX News.
The man accused of knocking down a Ferguson police officer, TJ Brown, and causing brain damage will face a reduced charge when his trial begins next week. Elijah Gant's first-degree assault charge is now classified as assault in the second. The reduction comes ahead of a trial that is due to begin on Monday.
Body cam footage from Officer Brown and others, along with surveillance footage, shows Gant and other protesters attempting to flee police on the night of the 10-year anniversary of the Michael Brown shooting. Gant is running at full speed, and Brown stepped in his way. Gant lowered his shoulder, knocking Brown to the concrete. Gant still faces 11 additional charges.
Straw gun buyers continue to be a problem for law enforcement. These are people who buy guns for those who should not have them.
The ATF's campaign called Don't Lie for the Other Guy will combine public education and help federally licensed firearm retailers identify straw purchases. Tom Albus, U.S. Attorney.
It's kind of another component of violent crime response. You think about the act of violence. Then you think about the prohibited person. Now let's take it another step and say, how did this gun come into the hands of a violent actor or a prohibited person? And that's what we're talking about.
Alba says people are criminally responsible if they lie on an ATF form to get guns in the hands of people who cannot fill out the forms themselves. It is a felony, and penalties have been enhanced by Congress. Maria Aquino, KMOX News.
The mother of the 7-month-old shot and killed by a 10-year-old is teaming up with the Urban League to give away gun locks. Kayomi Parker's father has been charged in that shooting that happened in the Baden neighborhood late last month. Witnesses say the 10-year-old knew there was a gun hidden under a mattress. If you are interested in getting a gun lock, you can contact the Urban League.
2 people face second-degree murder charges for the shooting death of an accomplice July 9th in the Wells Goodfellow neighborhood of St. Louis.
According to the probable cause statement, 35-year-old Sarah Mincio of Webster Groves and 42-year-old Brandon Robinson of St. Louis allegedly tried to break into a boarded-up building. A witness told them to stop and said police were being called. Nearby, 44-year-old Danelle Crawford was caught pulling metal out of a private dumpster. Police say Crawford fired shots at witnesses while trying to get away, but was gunned down by one of the witnesses in self-defense. The circuit attorney's office charged Sarah Mincio and Brandon Robinson with murder during perpetration of a felony, as well as attempted second-degree burglary counts. Brad Choate, KMOX News.
The St. Louis Sports Commission is getting $2.5 million of the Rams settlement funding. Commission President Mark Schreiber tells KMOX that money will be used to create a sustainable account for use in bid fees or guarantees for future sporting events.
We dip into that fund, we pull that money out, and then the event comes through. The sales tax revenue generated from that event, a portion of that sales tax revenue goes back in.
Schreiber says the next bidding deadline for the commission is August 31st as it tries to land the 2031 World Cup of Rugby.
Well, that was fast. The St. Charles City Council approved a deal to bring an Italian pasta maker into the now closed General Mills plant.
The incentive package came together in about a month, but Bertagny's connection to the St. Louis area actually goes back more than a century to the 1904 World's Fair. Scott Drachnick with the county's Economic Development Council says that combination makes this one of the strangest deals he's ever handled.
I've got to tell you, first off, congratulations, because this is the fastest project we have ever worked on in my almost 40 years of economic development. It's also the slowest.
Fast because Bertagny was choosing between St. Charles and other U.S. sites on a tight deadline. Slow because it's taken 122 years for the company to actually open a plant here after first selling pasta in the region. General Mills closed the facility earlier this year, cutting more than 160 jobs. Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
The list of states with the most people in financial distress is out. According to Wallet Hub, 8.8 million Americans have at least one credit account that's delinquent or in forbearance. And the state with the most citizens in financial hardship is Kansas. Missouri came in 20th, but Illinois is one of the least distressed, coming in at 42nd.
We will check traffic and weather next at 7:08.
You work hard, follow the rules, and get absolutely slammed by taxes. Your paycheck taxed, your property taxed, everything you buy taxed. Missouri's tax system isn't broken, it's rigged against you. The lawyers and lobbyists working for big corporations and the super rich buried over 200 loopholes for themselves in our tax code. While they pay nothing on the services they use, working families are taxed over and over. It's no wonder they're lying about Amendment 5. Our corrupt tax system is rigged in their favor. They're getting a free ride on your back. Don't believe their lies. The truth is, Amendment 5 closes loopholes exploited by the super rich and slashes taxes paid by Missouri's working families, phasing out income taxes and cutting property taxes. They finally pay what they owe while you keep what you earn. Vote yes on Amendment 5. Paid for by Missouri Promise PAC.
If you've been told that you need a new heating and cooling system for your home, and if you've gotten prices or you're going to get prices, call me. Try to stay away from the word high efficiency or efficiency. If you replace your system now and it's 12, 15, or 20 years old, you are greatly improving the efficiency just by replacing the old, inefficient unit. Do not be fooled. If you want a common sense approach and you just want your house cooled, I will help you. If you're good with that, call me. One easy number. It's Missouri and Illinois. The easiest of numbers, 314-293-2600. Or on the internet, bartinman.com. That's Bart with a B, Inman with an I.com. God bless.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts.
7:10 and time for traffic and weather here on Total Information AM. Roger Brand has the latest from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
We're into our lull that we normally see a little after 7 o'clock, Debbie. It does look pretty slow, though, right now. Westbound 70. In fact, it's jammed at Highway Z through Wentzville Parkway. Then it's slow out to David Hokel Parkway. It's down to one lane for road work. Now, they were scheduled to be doing that stuff the middle of the week, but it may have gotten pushed back a little bit due to the weather we've had. So that's what we're looking at right now. It's just down to one lane through that stretch at David Hokel Parkway. And like I said, it jams Z to Wentzville Parkway, and then it's slow west of there. Other than that, the only other slowdowns, northbound 55 is a little slow right through Highway A down in Festus. And I'm still seeing heavy traffic, not as bad as 10 minutes ago, but still pretty solid and slow on eastbound Highway 30 from Mauer Industrial up the hill to Highway 270. Downtown, things look great. No delays for drivers on the Illinois interstates, even in the construction zones. Everything looks great headed through and on to the downtown bridges. Next update at 7:20 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Let's get the latest from AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg.
KMOX AccuWeather, intervals of clouds and sun, and very humid today with a heavy thunderstorm in the area this afternoon and this evening. The high near 90. Partly to mostly cloudy, warm and sticky overnight, low 75. For tomorrow, intervals of clouds and sun and quite humid with a shower and thunderstorm, especially in the afternoon, high 88. For Saturday, sunshine and some clouds and remaining very humid. Slight chance of an afternoon thunderstorm, high 92. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Right now, scanning the St. Louis area for temperatures, we're looking at 77 in Florissant, 76 in St. Peters. We're up to 77 with a clearing sky, a few clouds downtown at the Arch.
It is 7:12, and a man is jailed in Madison County accused of trying to kill a pedestrian with his car. Sheriff's deputies say 64-year-old Tony Accardi is charged with attempted first-degree murder, 2 counts of aggravated battery, and a misdemeanor charge of fleeing and eluding. Investigators say Accardi allegedly hit the man Monday night on Shoto Place Road in rural Granite City, causing the other person to have a broken leg, among other injuries. And then Accardi is accused of driving away, then coming back to the scene in a different vehicle.
A major crackdown on unlicensed dispensaries was announced this week in west central Missouri's Warrensburg. Attorney General Catherine Hanaway joined local law enforcement leaders. Johnson County prosecuting attorney Robert Russell explains to MissouriNet why the operation was launched.
It started actually last year with citizen complaints about stores selling things to kids that were not what they were labeled to be. And a lot of that was these products are supposed to be hemp, but in fact, they qualify as marijuana.
Russell says search warrants were executed at 13 stores as part of the investigation.
A St. Charles County fence contractor is heading to prison after scamming families out of more than $250,000. Prosecutors say Craig Sutton, owner of Tri-County Fence and Deck, took large upfront payments for work he never finished or never even started. A judge sentenced Sutton to prison and ordered him to pay back more than $257,000. He's also permanently banned from ever running a home renovation business again.
Some people were sickened in a multi-state parasite outbreak. Report eating at Taco Bell before symptoms began.
Multiple media reports say investigators are examining whether lettuce or other salad greens are tied to thousands of cyclosporiasis cases. In a statement released on social media, Taco Bell says it has temporarily removed some ingredients at select locations as a precaution and says health leaders have not confirmed a link to the chain or any specific product. Matt Pilger, Missouri Net.
Girls Incorporated is holding its first ever national conference, and it's this week in St. Louis. Girls Inc. St. Louis president and CEO Cheryl Jones says they have more than 250 girls from across the U.S. and Canada participating.
We have 9,000 girls that we serve, but we were looking at girls that have what it takes to talk about some issues, drive issues, bring issues to the community.
The national conference wraps up today at Washington University, but the girls got to enjoy the sights too with trips to City Museum, the Arch and Ice Cream Social, and a dance party. We'll have more on Girls Inc. coming up later this morning during the 8 o'clock hour.
It's time for the cut of the game, sponsored by The Diamond Shop, thediamondshop.net. I bet it's been a while since you heard this.
Cut out by Savant Talk, but gravity's down to Toy Shirt side of the box. Reinjects on the ground to Edelman. Edelman shoots and scores!
Yes.
Toy Shirt to Edelman. Roofs a shot, and City gonna win by 3 against Austin.
Joey Zanaboni with the call on Y98 FM. And finally, Jen Cease, it's time for St. Louis City SC to get back on the pitch.
St. Louis City SC returns to MLS action Thursday after nearly 2 months away from league play. Head coach Juan DeMay says the World Cup break wasn't about holding on to momentum. It was about getting better.
Yeah, it is a brand new start. That's just the reality. We finished the month of May very strong. Now we want to start really strong the second part of the season.
DeMay says their success just before the break wasn't enough. The goal was to raise the standard.
Well, as much as the result in the month of May were positive, I still got the feeling that we could have been better. The idea was definitely to raise the bar for the staff, for the players. I'm excited to see what version we're going to see for the second part of the season.
Midfielder Chris Durkin will miss Thursday's match for yellow card accumulation, but Tomas Ostrak is back in full training where DeMay believes he can give City attacking options higher up the pitch. Join us for a special edition of KMOX Sports Open Line live from Energizer Park on Thursday at 6 p.m. I'll be joined by Bill McDermott, Ty Keogh, and Brad Davis to talk World Cup soccer and more. Then catch our City pregame show at 7 on KMOX and Y98 before 7:45 kickoff against rival Sporting KC. Jen Cease, KMOX Sports.
And Jen, the World Cup final is set for Sunday in East Rutherford, New Jersey, a clash between Argentina and Spain. Argentina rallied to beat England yesterday 2-1. They scored a goal in the final 5 minutes of regulation time. They were down 1-0, and then they score 2 minutes into injury time and win it 2-1. Lionel Messi is the leader of Argentina, the tournament's all-time leading scorer. Argentina seeking its 4th title and aims to be the first back-to-back champion since Brazil in 1958 and 1962. But standing in the way is Spain, the team that just beat the favorite, France, going after its 2nd title, having won in 2010. Speaking of soccer, what an honor last night at the ESPY Awards for one of our own.
And the 2026 Gatorade Best High School Female Player of the Year is Maddie DiMaria, Koryesu Academy Soccer.
Yes, you heard that right. Best female athlete of any sport. And Maddie DiMaria wins that. The Koryesu star, 3 straight state titles and heading to North Carolina to play soccer next season. The Cardinals are off one more day today. They'll play the Arizona Diamondbacks on the road tomorrow night. That one is an 8:40 start here on KMOX. Cardinals begin after the break, 1 game out of a wild card spot in the National League. Leaderboard at the Open Championship at Royal Birkdale. Sung Jae Im, Dan Brown, both at 4 under, and they've been joined now by Alex Smalley. all at 4 under for the championship. Scotty Scheffler is, of course, lurking. He is 3 under through 11. Dan Reardon will give us some background on the Open coming up in a half hour. I'm Tom Ackerman on the home of the Cardinals, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Let's take a break.
Good idea.
Hey, Tom, what are you doing on that Amendment 4?
You know, we fought for our freedom and rights. I'm not giving them away without a fight.
4 takes them?
That's exactly what 4 does. For over 100 years, Missouri voters have used our constitutional power to act when the politicians refused. I'll be darned if I'm voting to pass on less freedom and power to my kids.
It doesn't 4 kill majority rule?
Yep, creates minority rule, where just 5% of statewide voters in one district can block any citizen-led reform, making it nearly impossible to pass citizen-led ballot measures.
That's just dumb.
And when the politicians refuse to act, we've used citizen-led ballot measures to pass some big stuff, like lobbyist reforms, term limits for career politicians, and outlawing tax hikes without voter approval.
I'm not surrendering my power and rights to a bunch of politicians and lobbyists. I'm no on Amendment 4.
Hard no on 4.
Pay 4 buttons or inch, prepare governance.
When you retire, the paycheck from your job will likely stop. But here's what won't stop: bills, taxes, and medical issues. Sure, there's Social Security, but that may not be enough. Steve All and his team at the All Financial Group can show you potential ways to develop a new stream of income that can last as long as you live. Kind of like having your own personal pension. You won't have to worry about whether the market is up or down or who's sitting in the White House. You can spend your time instead on the things that matter, like family, friends, and doing the things you never had time to do before. Call Steve All today at 636-230-8824. That's 636-230-8824 and schedule a custom income review at no charge. Or find us online at yourmoneymattersstl.com. Investment advisory products and services made available through Impact Partnership Wealth, LLC, IPW, a registered investment advisor. Neither the firm nor its agents or representatives may give tax or legal advice.
Total Information AM. The news continues on 104.1 FM KMOX.
It is 7:20, so let's get you caught up on traffic and weather, starting with Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, right now, there's just a couple of roadwork backups out there, Debbie. If you're on a westbound 70, I mentioned about the area around David Hochul Parkway. Only the right lane is open through there, and westbound 70 is jammed back to 61. So as you get out into Wentzville, pretty solid bumper-to-bumper stuff. That was roadwork. They were scheduled to be doing it down to one lane from Monday through Wednesday afternoon, but I think it may have gotten pushed back a bit by the weather. So they're still out there. Apparently, I can see. Obviously, I can see it's down to one lane through that stretch. Northbound 55, they're reporting a crash north of 61. I don't see any delays there. There is a little bit of a delay from about midway up to McNutt. Again, they're doing work in that area. I see 2 lanes getting through, though. And eastbound 64, there's also a little slowdown approaching 159 in Fairview Heights. Next update at 7:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
If you or someone you know suffered any injuries involving a deployed airbag, you could be entitled to compensation. Morgan & Morgan has already recovered millions. Get America's largest injury law firm fighting for you.
Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
As for our weather, we're looking at a humid day today, sticky overnight, and a chance of a thunderstorm both today and tomorrow. Heavy thunderstorm around this afternoon and evening, high near 90. Intervals of clouds and sun today and tomorrow with a shower or thunderstorm around, especially the afternoon tomorrow, and a high of 88. It's 77 right now.
It's 7:22. Do you prefer it getting lighter earlier in the morning or staying lighter longer at night? Well, this week, the House of Representatives passed a bill to keep daylight saving time all year long. It still needs state approval.
KMOX Health Editor Fred Bottomer talked about the possible change with Dr. Thomas Seiler, a sleep medicine and pulmonary physician with Midwest Chest Consultants in St. Charles.
Looking at this, back in 2024, there was a survey done in Missouri, and 78% of people surveyed favored not switching back and forth. 47% wanted permanent daylight savings time, and 31% wanted permanent standard time. As far as medically and biologically, standard time is best because it more correlates to where the sun is in the sky and when the sun comes up in the morning and when the sun sets, as far as changes in light, which is one of the big things that drives and controls the circadian clock. So from a biologic standpoint, the best way to do it would be just do standard time all the time and not do the shift back and forth to daylight savings time. Permanent daylight savings time would be better than doing the shift, but standard time would probably be the best of the two if you had to choose one of them. And that's what most medical experts feel, and that's the attitude of the American Academy of Sleep Medicine and the National Sleep Foundation.
I know St. Louis City Public Schools are considering whether to start their school day a little bit later to help kids that are a little bit older not lose as much sleep. What do you think about that? Does an early start time affect adolescents and their circadian rhythms?
Yes, it does, because adolescents tend to have what's called delayed sleep phase, meaning that they want to go to bed later and they want to get up later. And so the problem is when you force them to go to school early in the day, like, get on a bus at 7 o'clock in the morning or 6:30 in the morning, their circadian clock isn't ready for them to be awake yet. And so their school performance and that sort of thing is not as good as it is later in the day. And so if you can shift that and start the day later, you're going to do the individuals are going to be more awake and more able to learn and function better in school. The problem in the past with those things has been is as you get into high school, there's all these extracurricular activities that happen after school. And I think the tendency was to start school early so you get done earlier so that kids have more time to do those sorts of activities. But, medically, they're better off starting later in the day. Younger kids actually do better early in the morning than adolescents do. And so what we do is we have the young kids go to school later and we have the older kids go to school earlier. And if you're going to do it at different times, you really ought to flip it around and do the older kids later and the younger kids earlier.
What else do you want us to know about sleep issues?
The biggest thing with sleep is trying to, as I mentioned earlier, practicing good sleep hygiene. And I've got some other things to just briefly kind of go over with that. So the sleep tips that we give patients are, the most important thing is to have a regular bedtime and awakening time, because that sort of what we call entrains your circadian clock so that you're on the same schedule every day. As I mentioned earlier, avoiding caffeine before bed and also avoiding exercise before bed, because exercise increases your body temperature, and really your body temperature is typically heading down a little bit when you're going to bed. If you artificially elevate it, it can make it more difficult to get to sleep. And as we've talked about for years, Fred, avoid all screens, TV, tablets, phones, especially tablets and phones have blue light that can actually make you more awake. Plus, you're stimulating your brain, which is not a good thing to do if you want to try to go to sleep. Having a dark room that's at a comfortable temperature is important. I always emphasize get the pets out of bed because they tend to disrupt sleep, because if they want to get up, you're probably going to get up too. Avoiding heavy meals before bedtime, and then avoiding alcohol before bed.
Dr. Thomas Seiler, a sleep medicine and pulmonary physician with Midwest Chest Consultants in St. Charles.
It is 7:26. The time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
Let's talk trees. Gamma Tree Experts. Your trees deserve the best care. They deserve Gamma Tree Experts. We have a lot of trees in the St. Louis area, especially those ash trees. Ash trees bring trouble because the emerald ash borer can decimate them. The emerald ash borer is an exotic wood-boring beetle that attacks ash trees exclusively. The emerald ash borer is very small but very destructive. It's metallic green in color. You've probably never seen one because it's a half-inch long and an eighth-inch wide. And the average adult beetle can fit easily on a penny. But boy, can they do some destruction. Early symptoms of an infestation might include dead branches near the top of a tree or wild leafy shoots growing out from its lower trunk. You need to get those trees treated, and Gamma Tree Experts can do that. They can save your ash tree. Prevention is key. If a tree is infested, tree removal is an effective way to eliminate the exotic pests and prevent the species' further spread. Again, we have a lot of ash trees in St. Louis. Gamma Tree Experts can take care of it. They've been doing this for a long, long time, since 1954. Visit them online at gammatree.com, and you can learn more about the emerald ash borer. Gamma Tree Experts, gammatree.com. Your trees deserve the best care.
Hey guys, this is Kevin Wheeler. If you're looking for a little kick in the pants when it comes to dropping a little weight, getting better shape, getting more into the gym, think about Burn Balance Complex, which you can pick up at Supplement Superstores. I've been using it since it came out. It's fantastic. You notice right away the difference. Look, we all have busy schedules. I do, and you do. You know, we all have problems sometimes with controlling our eating patterns and staying on a plan. Well, Burn Balance Complex makes that so much easier. It's not magic, but it definitely helps make it easier. It is a complete metabolism system. It's not just a fat burner. So what you're talking about is a natural weight loss option. So if you're a person that doesn't want to go get a prescription, you're not into injections, this is a great choice for you. In addition to the metabolism boost, you get to lower stress and cortisol levels, get better sleep. It can help control appetite and cravings, all day focused energy with no jitters, no crash at the end of the day. If you want the help, and look, we all need it. I know I do. Go to Supplement Superstores, tell them your story, mention Kevin Wheeler, and they'll knock 30% off the Burn Balance Complex. You can find your location at supplementsuperstores.com.
Men, if you're suffering from erectile dysfunction or PE, you're not alone. Most importantly, you don't have to live with it. Paramount Men's Medical Center restores men's sex lives in just one visit. Their painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, even when Viagra and Cialis don't work. Here's Dr. Simovitz, specialist in men's health.
Paramount Men's Medical Center's painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, regardless of age or medical history. 98% of patients see instant results right in the office.
Men are now lasting longer than they ever imagined. And the best part, at Paramount Men's Medical Center, your consultation and first treatment are free. Qualified patients even get their testosterone checked free. Call 314-720-8444. 314-720-8444. Take control of your sex life. Call now. 314-720-8444.
New Game Plus with Oxy makes your laundry smell incredible and fights stubborn smells, like the ones your dog Biscuit brought into your freshly made bed last night. But you washed that all away with Game, and now you're drifting asleep to the scent and sound of waves. Ah, no, that's the dog licking your ear.
Biscuit.
It just might be our greatest scent ever, now with odor-fighting power. New Game Plus with Oxy.
It is now 7:30, and we do have more sunshine in downtown St. Louis, and currently 77 degrees already. I'm Debbie Monterrey.
And I'm Tom Ackerman. Roger Brand joins us from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, the traffic's getting a little busier out there, Tom and Debbie, but it's not terrible if you're heading out the door right now, getting going. You've got traffic on northbound 270. That's slow. Let's call it Big Bend up through Doherty Ferry, but it thins out before you get up to Manchester. If you're going in on eastbound 64, it looks like we have an incident just east of Clayton Warson as you make your way in toward McKnight. I can't see right now what's blocking there, but there is a little bit of a backup as you approach Lindbergh to that point. And, of course, the big backup, the jam actually out west. Westbound 70 is down to one lane out through David Hokel Parkway. They're doing paving work. I was scheduled to wrap up yesterday afternoon, but I have a feeling the weather pushed it back. So it's a solid jam on westbound 70 from Highway 61 all the way through Wentzville Parkway, just bumper to bumper to crawling through there. Northbound 55, a little busy coming up through McNutt. I saw them unloading some concrete median barriers there, so it's kind of heavy. Eastbound 30 at Mauer, slow in downtown. Eastbound 64, heavy midway up the hill from 157 to 159, and westbound 64, slow across the Poplar. Next update is 740 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
It's going to be a hot, humid day with a high around 90, but we could see some heavy thunderstorms this afternoon and this evening. Tomorrow, pretty much the same with a shower thunderstorm around in the afternoon and a high of 88. Currently 77 downtown.
It is 7:32, and days before the trial of a man accused of assaulting and severely damaging a Ferguson police officer, one of the charges has been reduced.
Stay over there! Hold the line! Back the f*** up! 85, I got officer down! Officer down!
What you're hearing are the moments after Ferguson police officer T.J. Brown was knocked to the ground by Elijah Gant, causing significant injuries to Brown's brain and subsequently leaving him unconscious for months. Gant, initially charged with first-degree assault, had this charge reduced to second-degree assault. He still faces 11 additional charges. Gant was allegedly attempting to flee officers after protesters outside the Ferguson police station turned violent on the evening of the 10-year anniversary of the Michael Brown shooting. Gant was captured on body cam and surveillance footage attempting to flee and running over Brown. His trial is set to begin Monday with jury selection. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
KMOX has left a message with the St. Louis County Prosecuting Attorney's Office for comment on the reduced charge.
The state of Illinois can now offer more compensation to those who were wrongfully incarcerated. Governor Pritzker signing a bill yesterday to increase the maximum claim amount to $50,000 per each year spent behind bars.
The compensation for the wrongly imprisoned helps Illinoisans find housing, regain financial stability, and return to their lives and loved ones. The passage of HB 3663 extends that lifeline, making it possible for individuals and their families to get back on their feet after time spent serving an unjust sentence.
The new Illinois law limits how much money that can be spent on attorney's fees.
The news sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts, michaelsflooringoutlet.com. Your Money Minute next at 7:34.
Summer air should feel fresh, not full of dust, allergens, and whatever winter left behind in your vents. Your air ducts are the lungs of your home, and if they're dirty, you're breathing it in every single day. This month only, get your air ducts clean starting at just $599 per unit. That's cleaner air, better efficiency, and a fresher home guaranteed. Call 314-474-2020. You can also book online at ZeroResSTL.com. Ask for the DGS special, ZeroResSTL.com.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer at a beverage manufacturing plant, he starts his day knowing every line is ready to run because Grainger delivers the industrial-grade products he needs to keep mixers, conveyors, and packaging equipment moving. With Grainger's vast selection of bearings, belts, and motors, he keeps operations running smoothly, so nothing grinds to a halt. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
When you see this in your kitchen,
The stainless steel fridge is covered in fingerprints.
you hear this.
Leslie, people are going to think you were raised in a barn or by wolves or raised in a barn by wolves.
Fortunately, Wyman Stainless Steel 3-in-1 cleans, shines, and protects to give you the best shine. A spray and a wipe will have your fridge shining like a mirror.
Wow, my fridge looks brand new. Your fridge looks amazing, Leslie. Sorry, I was being a little dramatic earlier.
Your kitchen says a lot about you. Let it brag with Wyman.
It is 7:35, and in 5 minutes, we'll check the roadways and get you an update on the weather. We could be looking at some heavy thunderstorms moving through later today. That's not impacting the morning commute, so that's good news. Let's get the rest of it from Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, if you're heading out the door right now, things are doing okay. If you're driving in on eastbound Highway 30, it's a pretty solid backup from Mauer Industrial all the way up the hill to 270, bumper to bumper through there. North 270, the slowest traffic running from 44 up through Manchester. If you're on southbound 61, that's in better shape there. And actually, westbound 70 is looking better than it did 10 minutes ago, but still a little bit of a backup westbound 70 at 61. And then it's slow Wentzville out to David Hokel Parkway. Again, it was down to one lane for paving work in the area. Northbound Highway 55, thinned out through Highway A. You do have a backup on Telegraph northbound, Christopher up through Herb. Looks pretty solid there. And on the Illinois side, there's roadwork delays eastbound 64, east of 157, about midway up the hill to 159, where you run into a backup up to 159, and then it opens up after that. And westbound 64, there's just a little slow traffic right now across the Poplar Street Bridge. We also have this delay eastbound 64 from Ballas up to Clayton Morrison. We had an incident easter there. It looks like that has been cleared, and eastbound 70 is just a little busy at our city. I'm Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
This is Bloomberg Money Minute. More people are using credit card reward points for daily essentials such as food and gas, with inflation straining many budgets. A USAA survey finds that over 35% of folks are redeeming reward points for everyday expenses. As recently as 2023, Americans were most likely to redeem credit card rewards for travel, according to Credit Karma. Today, people are prioritizing groceries and gasoline instead. Turning to trading, Wall Street is cautious this morning after the recent run-up in artificial intelligence-related stocks. S&P futures are modestly lower as the U.S. escalates its campaign against Iran. And a dating app is letting you bring along a wingman. Hinge is introducing a new feature called Friends Take that lets daters recruit people they know to leave testimonials on their profiles for other singles to see. Daters get to approve the feedback before others can view. The feature is part of a broader effort to appeal to Gen Z daters who value authenticity. Courtney Donahoe, Bloomberg Radio.
Sponsored by Busey Bank.
This is the take care of my family goal. This is the enjoy the life I've built goal. This is the set up a foundation goal. This is Busey, where your goals become lasting legacies. Through bespoke plans that maximize your wealth, through partnerships that give you peace of mind. Because building wealth, tending to it, and passing it down secures a brighter future. Busey Bank, building business, growing wealth since 1868. Member FDIC.
Recently, our company's softball team lost the big game by 1 run. Then Dale tried to console us with the quote, "Winning isn't everything." Dale's a loser. I play to win, like early payout from Bet365. If my team goes up big, I get paid out instantly, even if they blow the lead later. Sound familiar, Dale? Bet365. Winning is everything. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in Missouri. T&Cs apply. In-app only.
St. Louis Public Library. Hey, if you're not a member of Book Chat with Debbie Monterrey and St. Louis Public Library on Facebook, you should join us today. More than 1,600 members who love books, chatting about books, author recommendations. And just this Tuesday, I did my monthly author interview with Donna Everhart, author of Women of a Promiscuous Nature. It's a fascinating book, so you can check that out. That interview will live for the next month or so on our Facebook group. Also, St. Louis Public Library has so much going on. So if the kids are getting punchy or you're looking for something to do in the air conditioning, Missouri's Main Street, 100 Years of Route 66 is a traveling exhibition right now at the library. And you can check out their SLP Library Quest. The Youth Summer Special events, they've got tons of things going on for kids, including their STL Summer Adventure, which is still going on through August 10th. It's a great way to get the kids reading, but also doing other activities inside, outside, all around town. So if you have any doubts, just look at their events calendar at slpl.org. St. Louis Public Library is St. Louis's original search engine, St. Louis Public Library.
Hi, I'm Chuck McDowell, the timeshare cancellation guy and founder of Wesley Financial Group. And I want to set the record straight. I am not an attorney. I've never wanted to be an attorney. And the truth is, I really don't even like attorneys. If I sound like an attorney, I'll apologize. But what I've learned in my 15 years in the timeshare cancellation business is you don't need to be an attorney to get folks out of their timeshare. After 15 years and over 50,000 cancellations, I can tell you with confidence, we know how to get you out of your timeshare. Call us today and we'll send you our timeshare exit guide absolutely free with all your options for cancellation. Attorneys, this was meant to be funny, so please don't sue me, especially my friend Kenneth from Black River Falls, Wisconsin.
Call now for your free timeshare exit info kit. 800-838-6767. 800-838-6767. 800-838-6767.
Tell you, we got a few spots out there. Let's check back in with Roger Brand, overhead door company at St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, 10 minutes ago, Tom, I was saying that things look better on westbound 70. Still delays, but, at the bottom of the hour right before the bottom of the hour, we had more of a jam, and now it's back to looking like more of a jam. It just keeps fluctuating depending on the volume pushing through. But what is going on, obviously, is westbound 70 is down to one lane. They were supposed to do this Monday through Wednesday, but I think weather pushed it back a little bit. So still doing the road work on 70 at David Hochul Parkway. It's a solid jam back to Wentzville Parkway right now, almost really approaching Wentzville Parkway. Southbound 61 ramping on to eastbound 70. There's some slow traffic there. Eastbound 64 ballast up to Lindbergh slow because of an incident we had at Clayton Warson. Eastbound Highway 70 is a little heavy. Earth City from the Blanchette Bridge, and then it opens up. North 270, 44 to Manchester slow. Eastbound 30, Mauer up to 270. You've got a backup there. Northbound Telegraph, Christopher up through Baumgartner looks pretty heavy. And eastbound 64 delays most of the way up the hill now. The delays getting longer from 157 to 159. And westbound 5570 between 111 and 203 has a roadwork slowdown. Next update at 7:50 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Brought to you by Liberty Mutual Insurance.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Brought to you by Liberty Mutual Insurance. Why pay full insurance when you can customize and save? Switch to Liberty Mutual and they'll customize your auto and home insurance so you only pay for what you need.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
All right, it's going on 7:43, and it's looking a little more cloudy right now in downtown St. Louis. Let's get the very latest on our forecast from AccuWeather's Joe Lundberg.
Yeah, the forecast is just not as bright, not as nice as it has been the first part of the week, Debbie. We're going to see a lot more clouds than we've seen in recent days, and with the high humidity, it could lead to a heavy thunderstorm this afternoon and this evening. The high temperature will get to about 90, then overnight warm and sticky, though 75. Clouds and sun tomorrow, very humid end of the week, with a better chance for a shower thunderstorm anytime, anywhere, anytime. Best chance, I think, in the afternoon and evening, the high 88. Gets a little bit drier on Saturday with sunshine and some clouds, although it stays very humid. Slight chance of an afternoon thunderstorm. I think most areas will escape without any meaningful rain Saturday, the high 92. Sunday, sunshine, some clouds, very warm and humid. A thunderstorm pops up in the afternoon, high 92, and pretty much a carbon copy for Monday, maybe a slight bit warmer. 76 at St. Peter's, it's 81 in Florissant, 82 with a fair amount of clouds downtown at the Arch. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Joe, thanks very much. Sports coming up in just a minute. It's 7:44 here on Total Information AM. An American-Iranian citizen has been released by Tehran. Here's ABC News Chief International Correspondent James Longman.
Glimmer of good news because Dina Karari, an American woman held in Iran since 2024, has been released by Iranian authorities. President Trump made this announcement on social media. He called this a gesture of goodwill by the Iranians. Her lawyer says she was subject to bogus charges of espionage and suffered enormous psychological and physical hardship. Some good news there, but her release does not change the situation here in the Middle East. The Strait of Hormuz is still closed.
President Trump's cabinet nominees grilled on Capitol Hill, his picks for attorney general and intelligence chief, facing questions from lawmakers at their confirmation hearings. We get more from ABC News senior political correspondent Rachel Scott and DNI nominee Jay Clayton.
Over in the Senate Intelligence Committee, senators pressing Jay Clayton, the president's nominee for Director of National Intelligence. He refused to say that Joe Biden won the 2020 election.
Who won the 2020 election?
I'm not going to do this with you.
Clayton pressed 20 times, but never directly answered the question.
Who won the 2020 election?
I have answered the question.
Answer it. What is your answer?
I've given you my answer.
What is your answer?
Georgia Democratic Senator John Ossoff calling it disgraceful.
Let's start things off with our own soccer star.
And the 2026 Gatorade Best High School Female Player of the Year is Maddie DiMaria.
St. Louis's Maddie DiMaria, the Gatorade Best High School Female Player of the Year at the ESPYs last night. The Koryezu soccer star led the Chargers to a 25-0 record and a state title once again. And Maddie DiMaria is headed to the University of North Carolina. Meanwhile, earlier in the day, Messi did it again, and this is how it sounded on Fox.
Messi resets. Messi driving in. Messi crossing back. Oh, there it is. Lautaro Martinez. Stoppage time. Go ahead goal for Argentina.
Argentina takes the lead on England 2-1 and wins it. They advance to the World Cup final on Sunday to play Spain. Tonight at Energizer Park here in St. Louis, it's time once again for St. Louis City SC as they'll be taking on Sporting KC.
St. Louis City SC believes it found its identity before the World Cup break. Now the challenge is building on it. Center back Timo Baumgartel says the club wants to build on the progress it made before the break.
At the end of the first half, we had some good games. We won a lot. We were successful. So we want to just continue with that.
Baumgartel says the goal isn't simply to repeat what City did in May. He wants the team to be even better.
We want to be more aggressive, also press a little bit more. And we just want to develop in these principles, want to get more points. I think all the fans would be happy if we win our game on Thursday.
Due to yellow card accumulation, midfielder Chris Durkin will miss Thursday's match, but Tomas Ostrak is back in full training, and head coach Johan DeMay may push his attacking qualities higher up the pitch. Be sure to join us for a special edition of KMOX Sports Open Line live from Energizer Park on Thursday at 6 p.m. Joining me will be Bill McDermott, Ty Keogh, and Brad Davis to talk World Cup soccer and more. Then catch our city pregame show at 7 on KMOX and Y98 before kickoff against rival Sporting KC at 7:45. Jen Cease, KMOX Sports.
Now to golf at Royal Birkdale. We're watching the Open Championship, Dan Reardon.
The roster of winners at Royal Birkdale, site of this week's Open Championship, reads like a brochure from the World Golf Hall of Fame. Palmer, Trevino, Watson, Miller, and Spieth all have claret jugs from their wins there. 9 of the 10 champions at Birkdale have additional major wins. Ian Baker Finch, the exception. So pedigree would seem to narrow the choices as favorites. Masters champion Rory McIlroy and reigning champion Scottie Scheffler are the most elite names to fit that profile. But weather has changed the Southport course into a dry, windless, and wispy rough 18, and the candidates to pick are almost limitless. Tommy Fleetwood will be the local favorite, having sneaked onto the course a few times as a youngster before playing there as a world-ranked professional, and will try to elevate the mood of an English crowd still suffering from the World Cup. Reporting on the Open, Dan Reardon for KMOX Radio Sports.
Alex Smalley is currently your leader, 5 under. He is through 16 holes. As for the Cardinals, they play tomorrow night at Arizona. And 8:40 start for them. Ins and Outs sponsored by Innsbruck Resort, where every day is the weekend. We just came off a great weekend in Innsbruck. Before I went to D.C. on my trip to talk to Congress, I was able to unwind with family and friends at Innsbruck. We had a bunch of us hanging out in a great lake house at Innsbruck. What a weekend. Even when the rain threatened, that's a good time to pop inside, maybe watch a movie, watch TV, and then head back out. You know, right after the rain, you know what you want to do. You want to fish. And did Audrey and I catch some fish? Oh, my goodness. She pulled another catfish over the weekend. Unbelievable. We had some great fishing. We had some great weather to lay out and enjoy some pool weather as well. They have 2 pools at Innsbruck. They have 7,500 acres and 100 lakes at Innsbruck. I know it's overwhelming how much. Golf course, hiking trails. We popped into the market for breakfast. We were able to enjoy the beautiful property that is Innsbruck under an hour from our house. Innsbruck-resort.com. You'll be very happy you did. Parlay of the day sponsored by Circa Sports. Sports betting the way it should be. Now, I did say a while back, and I've had a couple listeners reach out to me and thank me for saying that Spain was going to win the World Cup. And I got them at plus 800 was when I told you. Now, the job's not done yet. They still have a game to go, and they have to beat Argentina. Did you know that they are the favorite to beat Argentina at plus 125? Argentina at plus 264 to win the World Cup. I think a lot of people are going to take Messi on that one, but I would stick with Spain. Just saying. That's a parlay of the day sponsored by Circa Sports. Sports betting the way it should be.
America is turning 250 this year, and Circa Sports is celebrating by offering all users in Missouri $250. For everyone in Missouri, all you have to do is deposit $250 on your Circa Sports app, then play through that deposit. Once you do, Circa Sports will reward you with $250 right in your account. This is available for everyone in Missouri, new and existing users. Celebrate 250 years and find out more at circasports.com today. Must be 21 or older and in Missouri. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Summer is here. Time to enjoy baseball, barbecues, and the shade of your trees. When it comes to tree care, call the certified arborist at Gamma Tree Experts. Hi, I'm Tim Gamma. Protect your valuable trees from storm damage or devastating insects such as the emerald ash borer. Knowledge and quality are hallmarks of our reputation. For pruning, spraying, fertilization, or removals, call Gamma Tree Experts today at 314-725-6159 or visit us at gammatree.com. Your trees deserve the best care.
Broadcasting from the Scott Credit Union Studio, 104.1 FM KMOX. Total Information AM on 104.1 FM KMOX.
7:52. Here's Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, roadwork has westbound 70 backed up, Debbie, from just west of Z are approaching Wentzville Parkway out to David Hokel Parkway right now. Bumper to bumper, solid westbound through there. Eastbound 70, east of the Blanchard into Earth City is a little heavy. Eastbound 64, past Ballas is slow, and then McKnight to Big Bend. There's heavy traffic. Westbound 64, Hampton through Bellevue is busy. South 170, about Brentwood Boulevard is the busiest part. Northbound 270, north of 44 up to Manchester, slow. Eastbound 30, backed up Mauer up the hill to 270. Downtown, eastbound 64 is jammed now, approaching 157. Looks like we have a crash now before 159, so it's bumper to bumper because of that in the work zone. And westbound 64 is just slow across the Poplar. Next update is 7:58 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Roger, just a humid St. Louis day with a chance for a thunderstorm this afternoon. High near 90, partly cloudy tonight, low 75. Tomorrow, high 88 with a chance of an afternoon thunderstorm. It's 79 right now.
A 12-year-old is recovering after being shot in South St. Louis. That shooting happened last night around 8 in the 6600 block of Pennsylvania. The child was shot in the leg. Multiple people were taken into custody for questioning.
An ATF and law enforcement initiative, Don't Lie for the Other Guy, zeroes in on people who purchase firearms on behalf of others, known as straw buyers. The KMOX wanted to know about those sellers who are not legit. ATF agent Butch Hansen.
Is it pretty widespread? That's hard for me to say. I believe, and this is just me personally, that most gun dealers, the large vast majority, want to do the right thing. They care about the public. We work with them on a regular basis. Like, they help us. If they see something that's wrong, regardless of the state, they are in contact with ATF.
KMOX asked about punishment for unscrupulous dealers, and Hansen says if they're putting out hundreds of guns illegally, then the U.S. attorney intervenes.
Congress is once again flirting with the idea of eliminating the twice-yearly ritual of changing our clocks by an hour, switching back and forth from standard to daylight saving time. The House has voted to keep daylight saving time year-round. It's now up to the Senate to give final approval.
A recent survey found 78% of Missourians would be okay with ending the practice of switching from standard to daylight saving time twice a year. 47% preferred daylight saving time only with later sunsets, while 31% wanted standard time year-round with earlier sunrises. Where does sleep medicine specialist Dr. Thomas Seiler with Midwest Chest Consultants in St. Charles come down on this?
Permanent daylight savings time would be better than doing the shift, but standard time would probably be the best of the two if you had to choose one of them. And that's what most medical experts feel, and that's the attitude of the American Academy of Sleep Medicine and the National Sleep Foundation.
Dr. Seiler says standard time would be better because increased light in the morning is best for our circadian rhythm and our overall health. Fred Bottomer, KMOX News.
Wildfire smoke. That is what is causing a bad air quality day for millions across the country. ABC's Matt Rivers.
The Minnesota National Guard participating in firefighting efforts. One official warns some fires there could burn for months.
So there will be some fire on the ground in some form or fashion, along with smoke, until it snows.
Breathing in the smoky air poses a risk for sensitive groups. Officials warning the smoke, coupled with an oppressive heat wave, could be harmful, urging people, especially those with pre-existing conditions, to limit their time outside.
It is now 7:56.
Well, I'm sure you're aware, I guess you could all imagine, that not only are we busy, but other reputable companies are also just as busy, if not busier, and it's only going to get worse. So if you know, I know this is tough, but if your system has not been keeping up with your house for just not this year, but last year, the year before, and even the year before that, if you want to quit doing it and just get it done, just call me, Bart Inman, and it's one easy number, the easiest of numbers that sometimes I forget. So write it down. 314-293-2600, Missouri and Illinois, or on the internet, bartinman.com. That is Bart with a B, Inman with an I.com. God bless.
Hi, thanks for calling Uline.
Wait, did the phone even ring?
Nope.
Okay, so you answered before the ring, but now you're going to put me on hold, right?
We don't do that here. We're real people answering the phone, ready to help with your order when you are.
Uline has thousands of quality products for your business and warehouse needs, always in stock, ready to ship same day, and backed by Uline's legendary 24/7 customer service. Uline, we warehouse for you.
With the new MyLowe's Pro Rewards American Express card, earn 3 points per dollar spent on Lowe's qualifying purchases for the first 6 months after card account opening. Plus, save 5% every day on eligible purchases at Lowe's and earn points on eligible purchases everywhere else Amex is accepted. Card members get more at Lowe's. Subject to credit approval. 5% can't be combined with any other offer. Exclusions and restrictions apply. Points subject to loyalty terms at Lowe's.com/terms and credit reward terms at Synchrony.com/MLPRA-terms. Visit Lowe's.com/business credit.
This summer, local events are happening all over the place, and i3 Broadband is a big part of it. At i3, we love being part of the neighborhood and are proud to support the events that make our communities great. We're also proud to deliver 100% fiber-to-home internet, recognized as Greater St. Louis's next-door neighborhood fave. We give you lightning-fast speeds and reliable performance. Head over to i3broadband.com/radio today or call 866-806-5485 to upgrade, because life runs better on fiber, and i3 Broadband is here for you.
Roger Brand, what's the latest now? Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Tom, we still have our roadwork jam on westbound 70. Let's call it west to Z all the way out through David Hokel Parkway. It's down to one lane, just the right lane through in that construction area. Eastbound Highway 70 is a little busy east of the Blanchard into 270, a couple of spots. If you're on eastbound 64, McKnight to Big Ben's heavy. Westbound 64, not bad. Clayton Skinker to Big Ben's a little slow. South 170 bogs down around Brentwood. Northbound 270. North of 44 or approaching Big Bend up to Manchester, we have a couple of slow spots. If you're on 55, that's a good run into the city. Northbound Telegraph, Christopher up through Baumgartner, still delays. We had a crash eastbound 64 before 159. It's slow in pockets, approaching 157 into the area currently. Next update at 8:10 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Here's what's coming up with Debbie Monterrey in the 8 o'clock hour of Total Information AM. Megan Lynch visits with McDonald Planetarium manager Will Snyder about new state-of-the-art upgrades they'll be showing off this weekend. The 26th annual St. Louis Filmmakers Showcase begins tomorrow. Emmett Williams with Cinema St. Louis will join the show at 8:31. The latest Beige Book report is out. Chuck Gasson from the St. Louis Federal Reserve Office helps us go through the economic numbers. Coming up tonight, do not forget, we have St. Louis City SC on both Y98 and KMOX. And the weather, we have a chance of a thunderstorm this afternoon. Hopefully that doesn't interfere with any soccer, because we're excited for tonight.
Celebrating 100 years of informing and entertaining. KMOX AM St. Louis, KMOX FM Hazelwood, the voice of St. Louis.
News. I'm Chuck Sievertson. Torrential rain setting off more flooding in parts of Texas. As we hear from ABC's Jim Ryan, more high water rescues.
The swiftwater rescue crews pre-positioned along the Guadalupe River are being put to the test today.
There's literally a couple that's trapped in their house. I don't know if we can get to them or not.
I've got many boat crews that are ready to go over there.
The audio from Broadcastify. The state has deployed more than 800 vehicles and 1,300 personnel for rescue and recovery efforts, with more help coming from Louisiana and Oklahoma.
Wildfires in Minnesota and Canada, again leading to smoky, hazy conditions for millions of people from the Great Lakes to the Northeast. Air quality alerts issued for more than a dozen states. President Trump addresses the country tonight, expected to discuss election security, specifically issues around the 2020 election. An Italian court has just convicted the former head of an Italian highway operator after the deadly collapse of a bridge in Genoa 8 years ago. This is ABC News. Backing a temporary suspension of routine immigration enforcement traffic stops, Maine Senator Susan Collins after ICE officers shot a driver to death in a coastal town of Maine Monday. Less than a week after an ICE agent in Houston shot and killed a man at a traffic stop during a deportation crackdown.
The entire Maine delegation has asked for a thorough, full, and impartial investigation to be conducted by the independent office of the Inspector General.
President Trump does not support a suspension of ICE traffic stops. Censorship concerns in Hong Kong, whose top security official said today that booksellers should ensure the titles they sell do not harm national security. Yesterday, 5 people linked to 2 bookstores were arrested. United Airlines is trying to attract flyers with another luxury, an empty middle seat. The space will be used for a shared table. Chuck Sievertson, ABC News.
It is 8:02, and right now in downtown St. Louis, we have cloudy skies and 80 degrees already. I'm Debbie Monterrey. There is a possibility a young man died last night in the Merrimack River at Castlewood State Park. Crews searched the waters for 2 hours before suspending operations after sunset. Metro West Fire Chief Brad Shelton spoke with our news partners at Fox 2.
This river is not a place for people to go swimming at all. The current and the undertow of these certain parts of the river are very difficult to traverse, even for our dive team.
Shelton says sonar will be used to try to locate the 19-year-old. Days before his trial was set to begin, the man accused of assaulting a Ferguson officer has one of his charges reduced.
Stay over there! Hold the line! We need you! 85! I got officer down! Officer down!
Elijah Gant will now face assault in the second degree instead of first degree assault after allegedly running into Ferguson police officer TJ Brown and causing significant brain damage. Gant was one of a number of protesters outside the Ferguson police precinct on the night of the 10-year anniversary of the shooting of Michael Brown. When protesters began attacking the fence outside the building, officers moved in to break up the crowd. While attempting to flee police, Gant is seen on police body cam and nearby security cam footage, lowering his shoulder and knocking Officer Brown to the ground, causing him to hit his head on the concrete. Gant's trial is due to begin Monday with jury selection. He remains held on a $500,000 bond. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
After a 16-year-old and his 15-year-old accomplice went on a mass killing spree across East St. Louis, the community is speaking up. Dr. Anita Brazel, Community Public Service Coordinator with the Illinois State Police, is calling on parents to be accepting that sometimes a child needs help with their mental health.
I know in the African-American community, we think mental health services have a stigma, but really it should be considered an asset, a tool. Just as you break an arm, you go get a cast.
Brazil says if you or a loved one are in need of immediate mental health assistance, call 988. We're told straw gun buyers continue to be a problem for local law enforcement. These are the people who buy guns for others who should not or cannot get them.
The ATF's campaign called Don't Lie for the Other Guy will combine public education and help federally licensed firearm retailers identify straw purchases. Tom Albus, U.S. Attorney.
It's kind of another component of violent crime response. You think about the act of violence, then you think about the prohibited person. Now let's take it another step and say, how did this gun come into the hands of a violent actor or a prohibited person? And that's what we're talking about.
Alba says people are criminally responsible if they lie on an ATF form to get guns in the hands of people who cannot fill out the forms themselves. It is a felony, and penalties have been enhanced by Congress. Maria Aquino, KMOX News.
The Cross River Crime Task Force reports making several arrests during a Friday deployment in Madison County. Commander Marcos Polito says officers detained several people who had guns and illegal drugs like fentanyl and methamphetamine. They also located and arrested several fugitives with outstanding warrants. Polito says investigators believe people arrested during an Alton traffic stop may be related to other firearms-related crimes in the region. The House has passed a bill to make daylight saving time permanent. Eric Herzog studies the biology of daily rhythms. He's at Washington University. He tells Chris and Amy there is an alternate bill in the House called SOCA. It stands for Sunshine for Our Kids Act.
The idea is that kids waiting in the morning for their school bus on daylight saving time are waiting in the dark. And in 1974, unfortunately, 4 children were killed while waiting for the bus in daylight saving time. And that's what ended the permanent daylight saving time experiment in 1974.
Herzog said if everyone would wake up naturally, it would be more beneficial, and that would come with standard time. St. Charles is getting a new manufacturer at the plant General Mills shut down earlier this year.
The St. Charles City Council passed an incentive package for Bertegni, an Italian pasta maker, to take over the former General Mills TNT crust facility. The deal is expected to bring more than $33 million in investment and up to 200 jobs. Scott Drachnick with the Economic Development Council of St. Charles County says the pay is well above minimum wage.
Congratulations on this project that was so quick, even though 122 years in the making. And we're looking forward to not having a vacant building on 370 and not having 160 people who can't apply for another job that might be even better paid than what they had.
122 years in the making because the company first debuted its product at the 1904 World's Fair in the U.S. The city is offering Bertegni a 50% property tax abatement for 20 years, tied to the company keeping at least 150 full-time jobs starting in 2034. Jobs the county says will pay an average of over $60,000 a year. Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
13 stores were served search warrants during a major crackdown on unlicensed dispensaries in West Central Missouri. Johnson County Prosecuting Attorney Robert Russell says the investigation started with citizen complaints.
Many stores that we sent the letter to ceased selling these products. And shockingly, most of all, when they did the search warrants, they found my letter in several of these stores. One of them even had my letter attached right next to the cash register for the clerks to see.
The Attorney General, Catherine Hanaway, joined local law enforcement leaders in Warrensburg to announce the results of the investigation, which began with complaints that products marketed as hemp were actually marijuana and being sold to minors. It is 8:08. We'll take a break here, and when we come back, we'll get more on traffic and weather and a little preview of the planetarium.
You work hard, follow the rules, and get absolutely slammed by taxes. Your paycheck taxed, your property taxed, everything you buy taxed. Missouri's tax system isn't broken, it's rigged against you. The lawyers and lobbyists working for big corporations and the super rich buried over 200 loopholes for themselves in our tax code. While they pay nothing on the services they use, working families are taxed over and over. It's no wonder they're lying about Amendment 5. Our corrupt tax system is rigged in their favor. They're getting a free ride on your back. Don't believe their lies. The truth is, Amendment 5 closes loopholes exploited by the super rich and slashes taxes paid by Missouri's working families, phasing out income taxes and cutting property taxes. They finally pay what they owe while you keep what you earn. Vote yes on Amendment 5. Paid for by Missouri Promise PAC.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. One question I'm always asked is, how did you become the largest injury firm in the world with over 1,000 attorneys and $25 billion in verdicts and settlements? One way was our financial strength. Medical malpractice is the third leading cause of death in America. To prosecute a typical case costs up to $250,000 in case costs. We advance them all. Product liability cases can have similar costs with an army of lawyers on the other side. Automobile insurance companies have the resources to fight. Guess what? So do we. Many law firms simply may not have the financial firepower to work up your case the way you deserve. And we don't charge by the hour. No recovery, no fee. If you have a question about your case or wish to become a client, go to forthepeople.com on your mobile device or computer. 24/7. It's that easy. Morgan & Morgan. Injured? Dial pound law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts. Total Information AM. Debbie Monterrey, Megan Lynch, Tom Ackerman on 104.1 FM KMOX.
It is now 8:10, and that means it's time for Roger Brand to tell us more about the roadways. He's in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, there's still no change, Debbie, on westbound Highway 70. It's still down to one lane out around David Hokel Parkway. Road work, of course, ongoing there, and it's a solid jam at Wentzville Parkway out to that point on westbound Highway 70. If you're on eastbound Highway 64, there's just a little slowdown right through the Interbelt. South 170 just kind of delays at U Club Tower. That's not bad. Northbound 270, Doherty Ferry up to Manchester. That's the busiest part of that run. On the Illinois side, we have some delays due to road work. Eastbound 64 is backed up from 157 most of the way to 159. We also had a crash in that area earlier. I think it's been cleared. And on eastbound 5570, delays from 159 to 40. Westbound 5570 are jammed at 255, running through Black Lane currently. Next update at 8:20 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Times of sun and clouds and very humid for today with a heavy thunderstorm in the area this afternoon and this evening, the high near 90. Partly to mostly cloudy, warm and sticky overnight, low 75. Intervals of clouds and sun tomorrow and remaining quite humid with a shower and thunderstorm crossing the area, especially in the afternoon, the high 88. Partly to mostly sunny on Saturday, very humid, the high 92. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Right now in downtown St. Louis, we have mostly cloudy skies. It is 80 degrees. It's 8:12. The James S. McDonald Planetarium has had some serious upgrades over the last few months. Starting Saturday, you'll have the opportunity to experience state-of-the-art real-time views of outer space in the planetarium's domed Orthwine Star Bay. KMOX's Megan Lynch got a preview from planetarium manager Will Snyder.
So what's it like to finally get your hands on this thing and see how it works?
Well, it really is exciting. You know, I've worked in several different planetariums, and this is the first time where from scratch I've been able to be involved with installing a new system. So we've really got all our little wish list items out of this, and we're excited to have our hands on it and be able to show it to people.
Tell us what is so unique about this projector.
Well, being a hybrid planetarium is a pretty unique thing. We combine two different systems that work in harmony. We have that optomechanical projector, the Godo Chiron 3, that gives you those beautiful pinpoint starry sky. But then along with it, we have that Digistar system. Some places might have just one or the other, but it is more uncommon to see them working in tandem together to be able to give the best of both worlds. An optomechanical projector gives you that realistic starry sky at a resolution close to about 70K, which you can't do with digital projectors or LED domes, but it's a one-trick pony. To go beyond Earth, you need that digital side. So we're really excited to be able to offer both and do it in a way that feels seamless to guests.
Describe what the experience will be like for guests.
If you're coming to the planetarium for a first time in a while, I think what's great about our system is it can feel both very familiar and very different at the same time. So if you remember coming in, relaxing underneath the starry sky, and interacting with a live educator, you'll still have all of those great things. But now we can do so much more. We can take you to different objects that in the past we only could speak about, and we can also talk about new topics that we couldn't in the past. So it should feel both familiar and hopefully totally new.
Tell us how it integrates real-time data.
That's a really cool thing because in our world today, you hear a lot about data centers and all these things, certainly with AI and everything else. But science has been using data for, since the beginning, collecting data points, both with satellites and ground-based measurements that can allow us to better understand the world around us. So this system does pull from all sorts of national and international databases to give us new information. And in addition to satellite and climate data about our planet, it does also download in near real time new images from, say, the James Webb Space Telescope or other missions, so that whenever we make a new discovery as humans, we can talk about it here at the planetarium.
One thing that kind of made me sad was the difference between what we see here in St. Louis because of our light pollution and what we should see without it.
So it can be sad, right? But I think it is important for a lot of people, if you grow up near a lot of lights, or even today, not that far out in the countryside, you still deal with a lot of lights, and coming to the planetarium is a great opportunity where if you can't travel 2 hours away into the countryside, to both discover or be reminded what that sky looks like. And it will maybe inspire you to try to see that for real.
The new projection system was made possible by a generous gift from the St. Louis-based Centene Foundation. There is a lot of girl power in town right now. That's because it's the Girls Leading Change National Summit. Cheryl Jones is joining us. She is the president and CEO of Girls Incorporated St. Louis. Cheryl, congratulations on having this national summit here in St. Louis.
Good morning. Thank you, Debbie. This is so exciting because this is the first summit of its kind, bringing over 250 girls from more than 30 affiliates across the U.S. and Canada.
For people who are saying Girls Incorporated, can we let's update them on what Girls Incorporated is now?
Sure. Girls Inc.'s mission is to inspire all girls to be strong, smart, and bold. And we do it in academics, cultural, and also leadership and character development. Advocacy is also part of our platform. So we are making sure that we're building the next future leaders of tomorrow.
And you are gathering at Washington University?
We are. 250 girls from all over the U.S. and Canada.
This has been going on for a couple of days now, Cheryl. So what kind of things have the girls been doing?
Sure. They've had some programs around character, leadership, and also talking about advocacy. issues that are important to them. But they also have been on panels, and the panel that was today, Luz Foundation, was happening. And also we are going to have someone speaking with our very own Maxine Clark. So we've had several opportunities for the girls to just showcase what they are learning and what they will continue to learn throughout this week.
I'm sure that one of the things they're learning is that knowing women who are running things now is an excellent way to get their own careers and their own futures kick-started.
Absolutely. They're building powerful networks and creating new bonds with girls and individuals that are from different geographical locations, learning topics and learning how and what it takes to lead in a more positive space and how to take it back to their communities.
What would people in St. Louis, what do they know of Girls Inc.? Are there different chapters in town, or how many participants would you say are in Girls Inc. St. Louis?
Yes, so we are the only affiliate here in St. Louis. And again, we serve 9,000 girls. We do the academic, we do educational places in arts and also dance. And so the whole girl concept is what we intend for each of our girls. We also do our STEM program. So a rising eighth grader can be placed at UMSL, Maryville, or WashU, learning about STEM and careers and meeting people. But we also have a business program. So every aspect, or we try every aspect, I'm going to say, to reach girls where they are, but also extend them to where we think they can go and where they say they want to be. So it's a wonderful organization for young people to get to know each other as well.
It is Girls Incorporated. It is their national summit, but it's taking place here in St. Louis on the campus of Washington University. Cheryl Jones is the president and CEO of Girls Inc. St. Louis. Thanks so much for telling us more about your summit, and I hope everything concludes wonderfully. By the way, Girls Inc. wraps up their national summit today on the campus of Washington University. It is 8:19, and coming up, we'll tell you what's worth watching on TV and on the big screen, because there are a bunch of things that you can take in this weekend, from movies to live music, a huge music festival we'll learn more about coming up at 8:41. Madi is kicking off. And how's the economy looking? We'll take a look at that as well. But right now at 8:20, it's time for us to check in with Roger Brand. He's in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, roadwork's causing the biggest delays out there so far this morning, Debbie. This traffic reports a service at Chesterfield Fence and Deck. Westbound 70 is a solid jam from Wentzville out to David Hokel Parkways, running through that area, bumper to bumper. If you're on northbound 270, the Doherty Ferry up through Manchester toward Clayton Road's busy. Eastbound 64, McKnight to 170 is a little slow. Northbound Telegraph from Christopher up through Baumgartner looks congested. And again, roadwork delays on the Illinois side. Eastbound 64 from 157 most of the way to 159. Eastbound 5570 jam. 159 most of the way to Route 40, and westbound 5570 a little slow at 157. Then it's jammed from 255 about midway in to 111. Chesterfield Fence and Deck is your premier provider of fences, decks, patios, sunrooms, and more. Call them for a free estimate today. Now offering 48 months interest-free financing on your next outdoor project. Chesterfield Fence and Deck, chesterfieldfence.com. Next update at 8:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
All right, looking at that forecast for today, we are going to have a chance later today of some really heavy thunderstorms. In the meantime, a mix of sun and clouds, but yeah, those heavy thunderstorms later this afternoon into this evening, and a high near 90. Pretty much the same for tomorrow as well. It's going to be clouds and sun, humid, shower, thunderstorm around in the afternoon. And then for Saturday, sun and clouds, humid, 92 degrees. Right now, officially, it says mostly sunny, but it's cloudy downtown and 81 degrees.
Tom Ackerman here. You know, here's the thing about estate planning, and I hear this a lot, is, yeah, I have an estate plan. I think I do, or we did that years ago, but we've been meaning to look at it again. And honestly, that is the problem. Estate plans should not be one and done. Most plans don't fail because people don't care. They fail because life changes,
and the plan doesn't keep up. At Lederman Law Firm, it isn't just paperwork. It is an ongoing process. They build your estate plan to protect your family and your property, and then for a fixed annual fee, they actually help maintain it so it stays aligned with the changes in your life, your assets, and the law. That is a big reason why we have stayed with Lederman Law Firm all these years. If you're in the St. Louis metro area, including Illinois, and you want an estate plan that actually works, call the Lederman Law Firm at ledermanlaw.com or 314-514-9100. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer at a beverage manufacturing plant, he starts his day knowing every line is ready to run because Grainger delivers the industrial-grade products he needs to keep mixers, conveyors, and packaging equipment moving. With Grainger's vast selection of bearings, belts, and motors, he keeps operations running smoothly, so nothing grinds to a halt. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
I built this business the old-fashioned way. Hard work and a whole lot of spreadsheets.
Yeah, about that, I upgraded us to Odoo. Odoo puts everything we need, sales, inventory, accounting, on one connected platform. No more juggling systems, no more headaches.
So it all works together?
Exactly.
Odoo is the all-in-one business software that makes running and passing on a business easier than ever. Take your business into the next generation. Try Odoo free at odoo.com. That's ODOO.com.
Hair Volume from New Nordic will make your hair look thick and healthy. Available as a tablet or delicious gummy. Hair Volume is available online at Amazon and newnordicusa.com or in the hair care aisle at your local CVS.
If you like golf and SNL alums, you may be in luck. Matt Roush of TV Guide Magazine is joining us, and there's a new show called Hawk.
Yeah, and there's Will Ferrell from Saturday Night Live and so many big hit movie comedies that he's taking that persona of his, which is kind of like a child at heart and kind of a goofball who doesn't realize that he rubs everybody the wrong way. And he's playing this guy who a former golf legend known as Hawk, and he's getting back into the pro game. And so that is this series that's going to drop Thursday on Netflix. It's a total golf comedy. Molly Shannon, who he used to play along with on SNL, she's playing his estranged wife, who is no fan of Hawk, let's put it that way. Chris Parnell, also an SNL veteran, he's playing one of the PGA Tour board members who also thinks that Hawk is horrible and doesn't want him to succeed. But as this series goes on, he just gets better and better. He was washed up now, but now he's sort of finding his mojo again, which does not please his son, played by Jimmy Tatro, his son who's becoming a golf star, who feels his dad breathing down his neck. So there's all that going on. But the goal here is that Hawk was one major away from getting a career Grand Slam. And if he can get back in the game and play the U.S. Open and win it, then he's going to get the happy ending that we all want for Will Ferrell. So if you're looking for sort of a goofy golf comedy and you've seen Caddyshack too many times, maybe Hawk will be your thing.
Now, Dancing with the Stars has a bit of a spin-off.
Yeah, and it was a good time. This has been a good summer for the show. They had a really good, strong season last year, and they were nominated for an Emmy for reality competition for the first time in a decade. So they're getting their mojo back. But they just started a new spinoff called Dancing with the Stars, The Next Pro. Airs Mondays on ABC. The idea here is they're gathering really good dancers who all want to get on the show as a pro. And so one person from this, a group of 12, will make it onto the series as a pro. But each week they go through these challenges that test their choreography, that test their skills and their technique. And and the first episode, it was Derek Huff came back as a mentor. And the episode that's coming up this Monday, you have Brandon Armstrong, who's walking through the paces of how to tell a story through dance, do something that's really personal, because if you've ever watched the show, you know that they always do that during the course of the show. But what sets these pros apart is that they have to choreograph their routines as well as dance them, and also teach their partners. So there's all that involved. And so fighting the next pros, a lot harder than it sounds. And Robert Irwin, who was the winner of last season, is the very chipper host. So if you're a fan of Dancing with the Stars, you might want to check that out on Mondays.
All right. That is Matt Roush of TV Guide Magazine joining us on KMOX. It is now 8:26. The time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
Paramountmens.com.
Men, if you're suffering from erectile dysfunction or PE, you're not alone. Most importantly, you don't have to live with it. Paramount Men's Medical Center restores men's sex lives in just one visit. Their painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, even when Viagra and Cialis don't work. Here's Dr. Simovitz, specialist in men's health.
Paramount Men's Medical Center's painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, regardless of age or medical history. 98% of patients see instant results right in the office.
Men are now lasting longer than they ever imagined. And the best part, at Paramount Men's Medical Center, your consultation and first treatment are free. Qualified patients even get their testosterone checked free. Call 314-720-8444. 314-720-8444. Take control of your sex life. Call now. 314-720-8444.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
If you own a business, you've heard it all. From fast funding to easy approvals, everyone says the same thing. LendSeek is different. We show you what you actually qualify for. LendSeek's AI-enabled platform matches you with funding options with no guesswork. Up to $5 million in as fast as 24 hours. If you've been in business over a year, doing at least $50,000 per month, apply for free with zero out-of-pocket costs and access to over 100 lenders. Start ready, stay ready. Lendseek.com. LENDSEEK.com.
1-2. And that's grounded up the middle. Diving play. Mason Wynn to his feet. He throws. He got him.
St. Louis. Summer baseball is on at Busch Stadium. The Cardinals host the Cincinnati Reds July 24th through the 26th for a weekend packed with Cardinals action and giveaways like the Victory Blue jersey and Kids Fredbear hat. Round up your crew and enjoy 3 days of summer baseball and family fun. Get your tickets today at cardinals.com/promotions.
The tradition continues on Saturday, July 25th, when the Cardinals play the Cincinnati Reds. That day, you can take home the fan favorite Victory Blue jersey, just like the one the Cardinals wear every road Saturday, presented by Stiefel. It's a clean, classic look that stands out all season long. Available in medium and extra large while supplies last. Step into Saturday in Victory Blue. Get your tickets now at cardinals.com/promotions.
This is Michael McGreevy. See you at Busch Stadium.
It is 8:30, and it's time for us to check in with Roger Brand. He's in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Debbie, there's no change out west on Highway 70. This traffic reports the service of the Sandberg Phoenix Law Firm. If you're headed west on 70 or jammed from Wentzville Parkway out to David Hokel Parkway, it's down to one lane for road work. There's an incident eastbound 64 at Clayton-Warson with a lane blocked. It looks like traffic's backed up at about Spady. Northbound 270, Manchester up to Clayton Road is slow. And on the Illinois side, we have roadwork delays at several locations. Eastbound 64 is slow, 157 most of the way to 159. Eastbound 5570 is backed up from 159 to Route 40, and westbound 5570 jams approaching 255 most of the way into 111. Next update at 8:40 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
At Sandberg Phoenix, we're more than just a law firm. We're partners committed to you, your business, and your community. From family law to litigation, we're ready to serve. Visit sandbergphoenix.com. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertising.
We started out with a little bit of rain this morning downtown and in some other places, and we may see a lot of rain later this afternoon. It's going to be a mix of sun and clouds, a humid day, but heavy thunderstorms this afternoon and this evening. A high around 90, 75, and sticky overnight. Tomorrow, pretty much the same with clouds and sun, humid, and a high of 88. We could also see a shower or thunderstorm around tomorrow. But Saturday looks pretty good. Sun and clouds, humid with a high of 92. Right now in downtown St. Louis, we have 81 degrees. If you're in the mood this weekend for some interesting films, the 26th annual St. Louis Filmmakers Showcase is running the 17th through the 26th. Cinema St. Louis, as Emmett Williams joins us. He is the director of festival curation and education. Emmett, there's quite a variety of films here.
Yeah, we're very lucky in St. Louis that not only do we have an incredible amount of talent here, but the talent is really interested in making every possible genre of film. We have animation, experimental, dramas, lots of horror, and some really just a little bit of everything.
And there are some famous names who will be involved. There are also some local filmmakers involved. Can you give us a couple of highlights?
Yeah, well, our opening night film is Chasing Summer, and it is directed by award-winning independent filmmaker Josephine Decker, and it stars Eliza Schlesinger. Escape from New York, which stars Kurt Russell and was directed by John Carpenter. And we're showing that because it was filmed in St. Louis 45 years ago. And then our closing night film it's a new film called Gangland, and that stars Lou Diamond Phillips. And Lou Diamond Phillips will be in attendance, and I'm going to be lucky enough to do a Q&A with him after the film.
As the director of festival curation, it sounds at first I'm thinking, oh, that would be a really fun job. And then I thought, oh my God, that would be a really hard job.
It's divided because we don't take every submission. So we have a day I call acceptance day, when we let filmmakers know whether they got into the festival or not. And so that you are breaking a lot of hearts when you tell people that their film didn't get into the festival. But the joy that people get when they do get into the festival, it makes it all worth it. It's such a gift. And because seeing your film, especially for young filmmakers, seeing your film on the big screen at the High Point, there's no better feeling than that.
There are almost 70 films that will be shown at the High Point during this 26th annual St. Louis Filmmaker Showcase. So what advice can you give to people for kind of how to wrap their arms around it and figure out, what to go to and how it all works?
Go to our website and just sort of take a look at all the films. Every year we have films that people miss. And then later on, they're like, oh, I didn't even know that played. So I would just take your time and just see what's there, or just come to everything. That's also a possibility.
There is an all-access pass available.
Yes, there is an all-access pass available. There's a VIP pass available. And if you just want to come see some amazing local talent.
Well, it all kicks off at the High Point Theater on Friday. And It runs through the 26th. So just go online for cinemastlouis.org and see all of it and figure out which ones you want to see. I tell you, I've never seen Escape from New York on the big screen, but it is one of my absolute cult classic favorites.
Oh, good. Well, I hope to see you there.
That is Emmett Williams. He is with Cinema St. Louis, the director of festival curation and education. I hope you have a fantastic event.
All right. Thank you very much. Thanks for having us.
That'll be $84.52.
Perfect. Grab the bags, honey.
Mom, why do you always check your phone before we pay?
I'm just claiming my cash back on the Upside app. Since we're getting the groceries here and we filled up the car on the way, I've already earned enough this morning to pay for that pizza night we're having Friday.
Wait, so the app pays for pizza?
Not exactly, but the cash I earn on stuff we need helps us pay for the stuff we want. It's just a little win for our family every week.
Get more out of your everyday. Upside is the free app that gets you cash back on routine purchases like gas, groceries, and dining out at more than 100,000 locations nationwide. No points, no rebates, just cash back straight to your wallet. Download the free Upside app and use promo code WINNER to get a $5 bonus on your first purchase. That's promo code WINNER to get a $5 bonus. Remember, use promo code WINNER.
Offers vary by user and location at participating merchants. Go to upside.com for terms and conditions.
This is Bloomberg Money Minute. Hyundai is moving to acquire tech investment firm SoftBank's remaining stake in Boston Dynamics, securing full ownership of the robotics pioneer. By taking control of Boston Dynamics, the carmaker will combine the robotics company's AI expertise with its own manufacturing know-how to speed up the development of next-generation robots. Hyundai plans to deploy humanoid robots at its auto plant in Georgia starting in 2028. Turning to the market, S&P futures are looking at losses today on escalating tensions in the Middle East. Traders are concerned that energy prices and inflation will stay high as the conflict continues to rage. And a growing number of corporate leaders buckling under the stress of the artificial intelligence age are looking for a chief of staff. The role is part confidant, part concierge, and part consigliere. Postings for the job more than doubled last year, according to Revelio Labs, with salaries reaching $400,000. Courtney Donahoe, Bloomberg Radio.
Well, it's official. My friends have all switched to Pure Talk because I told them they could save a bunch of money on a super reliable high-speed network with unlimited data. And because they're my friends, they trust me. As for the rest of you, well, Pure Talk understands that even though you might like me, you're not just going to take my word for it, nor should you. For that reason, and for a very limited time, Pure Talk is offering any of their plans for just $15 a month for the first 3 months, including their top-tier unlimited plan that normally sells for $65 a month. Think of it like a test drive, a super simple way to save $150 while you kick the tires on Pure Talk's blazing fast network, and a fine way to see for yourself why I switched from big wireless, along with a few 100,000 of my closest friends. Dial pound 250, say Mike Rowe, and be connected to Pure Talk's friendly U.S. customer service team. Again, dial pound 250, say Mike Rowe, and let the savings begin.
Your Money Report was sponsored by Eamon Gantner and Capriano Elder Law Attorneys.
America is turning 250 this year, and Circa Sports is celebrating by offering all users in Missouri $250. For everyone in Missouri, all you have to do is deposit $250 on your Circa Sports app, then play through that deposit. Once you do, Circa Sports will reward you with $250 right in your account. This is available for everyone in Missouri, new and existing users. Celebrate 250 years and find out more at circasports.com today. Must be 21 or older and in Missouri. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Let's take a break. Good idea. Hey, Tom, what are you doing on that Amendment 4?
You know we fought for our freedom and rights. I'm not giving them away without a fight.
4 takes them?
That's exactly what 4 does. For over 100 years, Missouri voters have used our constitutional power to act when the politicians refused. I'll be darned if I'm voting to pass on less freedom and power to my kids.
It doesn't 4 kill majority rule?
Yep, creates minority rule, where just 5% of statewide voters in one district can block any citizen-led reform, making it nearly impossible to pass citizen-led ballot measures.
That's just dumb.
And when the politicians refuse to act, we've used citizen-led ballot measures to pass some big stuff, like lobbyist reforms, term limits for career politicians, and outlawing tax hikes without voter approval.
I'm not surrendering my power and rights to a bunch of politicians and lobbyists. I'm no on Amendment 4.
Hard no on 4.
Petty 4 buttons are inch per care governance.
Celebrate the month of July with Zero Res and get 3 rooms of carpet clean starting at just $129. Get your air ducts cleaned for $599 per unit. Book online at ZeroResSTL.com and take advantage of the savings. That's ZeroResSTL.com.
It is now 8:40. The United States has intensified its strikes on Iran, hitting targets farther north. American forces also fired into a ship the U.S. accused of trying to break its naval blockade on the Islamic Republic. Iran retaliated with missile and drone fire targeting U.S. allies, Bahrain, Jordan, and Kuwait. President Trump set to address the nation on topics he says will include elections and voting machines. Trump's comments suggest he is likely in Thursday's speech to revisit some of his unproven claims he's previously made about Republican losses, particularly his own in 2020 to Joe Biden. Americans are waiting longer for disaster aid under President Trump, with delays often lasting weeks or months. An AP analysis shows Trump is taking longer to approve major disaster declarations than any other president since 1989. All right, joining us right now is somebody who can tell us a lot more about what's happening this weekend. Let's see if we can clear a path for you to work first before you get to that point. Roger Brand is joining us right now from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center. Any big problems, Roger?
Well, it's mainly just the road work that's still out there, Debbie. This traffic reports the service of Steve Butts and the entire Crawford Butts family, because we've got delays on westbound 70 bumper to bumper from Wentzville Parkway to David Hochul Parkway. Roadwork on the Illinois side, eastbound 64 approaching 157 most of the way to 159. Eastbound 5570 is backed up from 159 to Route 40, and westbound 5570 is jammed at 255 most of the way into 111. Other than that, we had an incident eastbound 64 east of Lindbergh around Clayton Worcester. They cleared it, but eastbound 64 traffic is backed up from 270 to about Spady. After that, it's just a little slow at the Interbelt. As America celebrates its 250th anniversary, Steve Butts and everyone at Crawford Butts Insurance wish everyone a safe and joyful summer. Proudly serving the community for generations, happy 250th, America. I'm Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, it's going to be a hot, humid day today with clouds and sun and a heavy thunderstorm around this afternoon into this evening, a high around 90. Pretty much the same tomorrow with a high of 88 and a possibility of a shower thunderstorm around. Saturday looks good, just hot with a high of 92 and sun and clouds. Currently, it's 81 degrees. It's 8:42 as Total Information AM continues. If you love live music, you are in luck this weekend. Maddie is going on. Music at the Intersection in Grand Center. And joining us with all the details is Chris Hansen, the Executive Director of the Kranzberg Arts Foundation. Thanks for coming in.
Thanks, Deb. Appreciate you having me.
We were just discussing this off mic, but I cannot imagine being the scheduler for this because if somebody just pulls up the schedule for this 3-day festival, it is unbelievable the amount of stuff that is going on.
Oh, there's so much to do. There's a little something for everyone. We've got an amazing weekend planned for St. Louis and all the people coming into St. Louis to celebrate our imprint on the American Songbook, our great cultural legacy. Maddie, formerly known as Music at the Intersection, it's a truly multicultural, multidisciplinary event. We've got workshops and conference and panels all day on Friday and Saturday from 11 to 5. We have a free community block party over 5 blocks in the Grand Center Arts District, are connected with live art, music, poetry, dance. We have circus out there. You can go roller skating this year. We've got a great local business market, the Frizzy by Nature Business and Bloom Market. We've got great food trucks and tasting tents. So you can just come down, discover the neighborhood, check out all the great things. Even on that free stage, we've got DJ Spinderella, Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, Grammy Award-winning Spinderella from Salt and Pepper. We've got a host of other amazing acts on the stages outside as well. But then if you want to experience the full music festival and go to all the main stages, see those living legends and rising stars, St. Louis Giants, you got to buy a pass. That gets you into Sophie's Artist Lounge, the Big Top, Jazz St. Louis, get you into the Sovereign. And then on Thursday tonight, we kick things off with John Baptiste at the Fox Theater. And then we close out Sunday with our finale at the Fox Theater, which features Wyclef Jean, PJ Morton, and a very special set by our artist in residence, Keon Harold, featuring Andra Day and Peter Martin. So just a little something for everyone. We got great jazz and soul music. We got some hip hop and R&B, some new electronic music. But yeah, bring your families, bring your friends. It's going to be a great celebration in St. Louis.
Yeah, I would encourage people to go to the website and just look at the schedule. But just so people are clear, there are free things to do. And then you could go anywhere from attending the free events to getting some like all-inclusive pass where you just do everything.
Yes, you can come down for nothing and just enjoy it. You can pick a weekend pass. You can have a single day pass. There's even some special activations and parties happening. Like Manny Fresh is doing a special program with Deluxe Magazine at the Key on Friday night. The brothers Lazaroff are hosting a special CD release and brunch at Jazz St. Louis on Sunday morning. So, just look at the schedule, pick your poison, and figure out how you want to fit into the mix. But yeah, I think this is one of those great celebrations of St. Louis. It's a great way to bring us all together, remind us what a beautiful city we have. It gets people back to our urban core in the streets of Grand Center right there on Washington Avenue. It just really connects us. And one of the great things about this festival are the people who show up. So when you're there, you look around and you're like, this is what St. Louis really looks like. This is what it feels like to be a St. Louisan. And when the artists come to play, Gary Clark Jr., when he played, he said, I don't usually play festivals like this. There's truly diverse, and you can really feel like you're here celebrating St. Louis, and that we're all here kind of celebrating ourselves, and that the artists that are coming in town are participating. We're not just there for them. We're there for this experience that we're all having, commonly together. So, encourage everybody to get your friends and family and come on down to Grand Center this weekend. One of America's most exciting arts districts. Forbes magazine in 23 said America's most exciting emerging, not because we're new, because there's a lot of new stuff. And USA Today this year, we were ranked number 9. So we're trying to be number 1, and you got to come down to Grand Center and check it all out.
And you mentioned some big names in music that will be performing, and in between all of that, there are dozens and dozens of artists. But where do the conferences and the panel discussions fit into all of that?
Sure, yeah. So on Friday and Saturday at .zac, you can RSVP. It does require an RSVP to go. And so from 11 to 5, we'll have thought leaders across tech and art. We've got panels on fashion and film, live podcasts. So there's a little bit of something there. You can check out the full conference schedule on the matistl.org website. That goes from 11 to 5 on Friday and Saturday. We also have some writers' workshops over at Hilo, our literary center there at Leonard in Washington. So you can bounce back and forth between those two venues and check out the panels and workshops. And then the block party kicks off at 5 o'clock on Friday. That'll go from 5 to 11. But we have main stages going as late as 1 o'clock in the morning. So you can get there early, you can get there late, and check out a little bit of something of everything.
I don't even know if you have an idea of this number, but between the performers and the musicians and the people on the panels and there's fashion shows, how many people are participating?
Yeah, this is one of the great things. The majority of the acts on the stages are from here, live here, work here, or have some deep connection to our story in our city. So, we get to employ hundreds of local artists and musicians and thought leaders. I think we're somewhere in the 500 range of individuals that participate in some way or another. We get to hire local marketing and production companies. So this just kind of refuels and recycles right back into St. Louis. But yeah, there's a lot of planning. There's a lot of people involved. There's a lot of folks that help inform the programming and are participating not just in being there, but actually helping us with the curation and programming of the event. So it's a collective effort.
All right. So there are going to be people who don't know that this is going on, and they'll be driving towards Grand Center thinking, what's happening? There's going to be a lot going on, folks. So plan accordingly if your travels take you around Grand Center this weekend. And what's the best way to get the schedule?
Yeah, check out the schedule and the lineup at matistl.org. You can get tickets there or at metrotix.com.
Chris Hansen, you've got a big weekend ahead of you. So best wishes. Things are indoors and outdoors. So if it does rain a little bit, just.
That's right. Yeah. Don't worry about the heat. It's an evening event, and don't worry about any weather. We've got indoor and outdoor for everybody.
All right. Well, thank you. And all the things that the Kranzberg Arts Foundation is doing for the city. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
It is 8:49. And what's the state of the economy? The Beige Book is out. We'll talk about that coming up next.
If you've been told that you need a new heating and cooling system for your home, and if you've gotten prices or you're going to get prices, call me. Try to stay away from the word high efficiency or efficiency. If you replace your system now and it's 12, 15, or 20 years old, you are greatly improving the efficiency just by replacing the old inefficient unit. Do not be fooled. If you want a common sense approach and you just want your house cooled, I will help you. If you're good with that, call me. One easy number. It's Missouri and Illinois. The easiest of numbers, 314-293-2600. Or on the internet, bartinman.com. That's Bart with a B, Inman with an I.com. God bless.
Is local, and we're here doing the work every day. We're right here in St. Louis, and we're ready to fight for you. CantorInjuryLaw.com or call 314-628-9999.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be solely based on advertisements.
And Doug. Limu and I created a trick to help you remember that you can customize your car insurance and save with Liberty Mutual. You see, the shirts Limu and I wear are yellow, and yellow is the color of lemons, and lemons grow on trees, and trees provide oxygen, and oxygen helps us breathe, and breathing is how you live, and you can live more life when you save money by customizing your car insurance. I agree, Limu. It's really quite simple. Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty. Broadcasting from the Scott Credit Union Studio, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
It is now 8:51. Multiple times a year, the Federal Reserve taps into a network of key business contacts, economists, market experts, others to get a read on the economy for our region. That report comes through the Federal Reserve Bank of St. Louis. And joining me on the Quiver River Electric guest line is the St. Louis Federal Reserve economist and Assistant Vice President, Charles Gaskin. Thanks for joining us this morning.
Hey, thanks for having me. It's nice to be here.
Well, overall, can you give us the outlook from this latest snapshot? What is it looking like?
Yeah, so the information that we collected kind of went right up through the 4th of July holiday, and overall the reports indicate that activity around the region slightly improved since our last report. Employment levels seem relatively stable, and wage growth has moderated. Continue to get a lot of reports of prices increasing at a pretty robust pace, even though there has been some reprieve in gasoline prices. And then the report on consumer spending was generally mixed, I would say, but overall pretty stable. And reports on manufacturing seem to pick up a little bit as they related to kind of data center construction and AI build out, but related to the housing market and food processing side of manufacturing, that was a bit weaker.
Going back to prices, you said gas prices were down a little, but overall prices of other things were up?
Yeah, overall, the reports were that prices were increasing at a pretty robust pace in different areas. So electricity provider noted that they have supply chain shortages. And energy infrastructure build out is raising the cost of a lot of those key components, such as structural steel and copper. And then if you look at some of the other areas like food prices, we're starting some increases there. And then also transportation costs have gone up. And so that's just led to broader cost pressures across the goods side of the economy. So that's kind of leading to some general price pressures in that space.
And consumer spending, you said, was also up. Could that be because gas prices were down? Maybe people had a little extra money?
Yeah, so the consumer spending reports, were generally pretty stable. If you look at kind of the tourism and hospitality side of the economy as we're in the summer months, those reports were pretty good. Some districts across the country, not necessarily here in St. Louis, reported a boost from World Cup visitors and activity. We also heard a lot of tourism and hospitality contacts around the region just noting that kind of last minute travel was picking up, and that was helping them meet their expectations. On the good side of the economy and like people shopping at stores or purchasing auto sales were relatively weak. And then at the purchasing of stores at the grocery store or general retail, people are kind of sticking to their list and buying, the necessities and kind of cutting back on some of those discretionary purchases.
When we talk about real estate or the housing market, it just depends on like who you're asking, I guess, because people looking for homes are finding there's not much out there, or they're too expensive, or what does the outlook look like from the Beige Book as far as that goes?
Yeah, so the real estate activity on the residential side was mixed. Real estate agents described the market as very active. So buyers kind of making cash offers, waiving inspections and those factors. So it's still kind of low supply. Mortgage rates have moved up, so that has dampened demand a little bit. We're really seeing strong activity. It's in the industrial commercial space. So that's the build out of data centers and industrial properties and manufacturing activity, as well as kind of defense production is also ramping up. So that's leading to demands for some of those materials as well. So manufacturing side of the economy is much more robust than it has been over the last year or so.
And tell me a little bit more about the picture for agriculture.
Yeah, conditions are generally unchanged since our last report. Farm operations are holding steady. There hasn't been many changes in the loan delinquencies, but row crop prices are historically low, and we had some drought conditions earlier on in the year, although we did get hit with some pretty good rain over the last couple of weeks, so that should help out. But generally speaking, it's just a weak market for row crops at this point in time. On the other side, meat and poultry producers across the region, they're reporting that activity is still really strong, and those prices are continuing to hold up.
Were there any big changes that you noticed from this Beige Book to the previous report?
I think if you look at the national picture, there were more districts were reporting improvements in activity and improvements in hiring. So across the country, it seemed like you're seeing kind of a broad-based improvement in the labor market that wasn't as evident in the last report. So that was something that stood out to me. And then just continuing to see a lot of reports about, how AI is impacting business operations and productivity. So that's something that continues to come up in conversations.
All right. Well, Charles, thank you so much for the update. We appreciate it.
Absolutely. It's nice talking to you.
You too. Charles Gaskin is the Assistant Vice President of the economist at the St. Louis Federal Reserve. And we're talking about the Beige Book and a little snapshot of the economy right now. It is 8:56. This is Total Information AM.
Time now for today's Spotlight on Health Trends, sponsored by LendSeek.
Parents' phone habits might be damaging their relationships with their teens. Researchers with Newport Healthcare found adolescents who feel their caregivers are constantly distracted by devices report feeling less secure in those relationships. These teens are also significantly less likely to turn to their parents for support or connection. Experts say you don't need to throw away your phone. Just practice being intentionally present when your kids are in the room. I'm Margie Schaefer.
If you own a small business, the pressure never lets up. Something's always coming at you.